moved up to 2022 or 2023. And I think that meeting and our reaction will say a lot about it. We have the ability to push that timeline back a considerable ways, give Taiwan that opportunity to buy time, or we can go wobbly and lose 80% of our supply of chips and a reliable partner and give China the ability, candidly, to put a stranglehold on technology.
I do want to, before I let you go, get political for a minute. We do see the latest data. I think the Wall Street Journal has a poll. Democrats are doing a lot better than they have been ahead of midterms. Republicans are falling behind. A lot of talk about, maybe Roe being behind that in the Supreme Court's decision. But Minority Leader McCarthy is apparently going to roll out the GOP's commitment to America, I think, early next week. What should that look like? What does the GOP promise to do if they're in power in the House?
Well, the Democrats are running on Trump in the Supreme Court somehow being on the ballot. We're running on Biden and the Democrats' majority being on the ballot. That means that high gas prices, inflation, runaway government, a lack of personal freedom, including the freedom to control what your children see and do, all of those are on our side. And so what's our initiative about? It's about returning to the American people the power that the Constitution guaranteed them. It's about allowing them to push for the prosperity that has been earned by the private sector. We're willing to have that debate about Biden's failures, about the Democrat majority, including Nancy Pelosi's failures and their wastefulness. The reality is, we are looking at the kind of personal liberty and states controlling their destiny and parents controlling what their children do and see. And we think that that's not only winning, but we see it in the polling as Hispanics and other minorities are looking to the Republican Party for the prosperity in their future.
Congressman, those things might not be on the ballot, but as you are on House Judiciary as well, I know that 18 House Republicans told U.S. Attorney General and FBI head Chris Wray to preserve documents relating to the Mar-a-Lago search. I understand there's some talk that that's a signal about GOP plans, if they take power in the House, to do something regarding oversight of those agencies. So even if they're not on the ballot, some Republicans at least, and your colleagues on Judiciary are talking about making that an issue. What sort of oversight would we see?
Well, you're going to see oversight for the first time in 2 years. The fact is, Republicans, and I'm the former oversight chairman and serve on Judiciary. And, when I chaired oversight, one of the things I was in charge of was the National Archives. I'm acutely aware of the responsibility to make sure that an original or a copy of every document or of an administration, not just the president, but famously Hillary Clinton's emails, belong in the National Archives. And I support that and certainly would not support anyone leaving documents that would not be available to the National Archives. But there is no criminal penalty for not delivering every paper. And the idea that they went in aggressively and then the story kept changing as to why they were going there. Of course, we want to look at that. We want to know why they're reluctant to have a special master and continue to appeal it. But there's a lot more we want to know. We're going to want to get to the bottom of the failed decision when we left Afghanistan and what the impact is. And we're going to want to understand why they continue to not support protecting our borders and continue to say the border is secure when there will be over 100,000 fentanyl deaths this year if we continue at the runway we're going. These are things that we need to look at their policies and procedures because that's Congress's job. It's not just to write a check, it's to make sure that the check is well spent.
California Republican Congressman Darrell Issa, thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and NewstalkSTL.com.
Let's see, if something costs less but people are happier with it. That sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 844-94-BIBLE. That's 844-94-BIBLE. 844-94-BIBLE.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
We tried Dynovite nutritional supplement, and after a couple of weeks, we noticed a big difference. Our little Gizmo's coat was shinier, and there was a lot less scratching and shedding.
My dog smelled and scratched constantly. We bathed and sprayed her, took her to the vet, but no results. Now, a little Dynovite in her food helps Bella keep her beautiful coat with no scratching or smell.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynovite.
I got Park Hill and West Valley covered on Tuesday.
At Marita's Pool Service, the current staffing plan doesn't hold water.
3 more neighborhood pools on the same day.
She needs more pool technicians to dive into work head first.
That's awesome, but now we're shorthanded.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Columbo and Katie.
A lot going on in the nation's capital as apparently President Biden doesn't mind alienating either party. Tuesday, we'll discuss the issues both sides have with Joe when we talk to White House correspondent Christian Daytalk at 2:20.
Weekdays at 2 on NewstalkSTL.
Is your portfolio positioned for the biggest risks facing investors today? Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. We have experienced tremendous economic changes in the last year. Today, historically low interest rates and spiking inflation present new risks and opportunities for investors. If you haven't made changes to your investments in the last year, it's time for a portfolio review. With 100 years of combined experience, our team can help you prepare for the risks relevant to today's investors. Contact the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel to request a free portfolio review at clearpathinvesting.com or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
Just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Talk radio made in St. Louis.
Very excited for what you guys are doing for the St. Louis community.
For St. Louis.
Relevant local talk.
Saying what we are thinking.
This is News Talk STL.
You guys are awesome. I love you. And it's a tremendous honor to be on the station.
News, analysis, and opinion.
Thanks for covering the local angle.
Come on, people. This is America.
We better open our eyes.
Really local, really good.
News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and NewstalkSTL.com.
It's off against their historic rival, Nebraska. The best pregame, the best announcers, the biggest games. Oklahoma, Nebraska, Saturday at noon Eastern on Fox.
look at what's happening from the Fox News Rundown.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, September 13th, 2022. I'm Ted Lindner, and this is the Fox News Rundown. The mourning period for Queen Elizabeth II is underway. Her coffin is beginning its journey from Scotland back to her home in London. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more.
This evening, the Queen's coffin will be flown from Edinburgh Airport to London, then taken to Buckingham Palace by royal hearse. Princess Anne, the Queen's daughter, will accompany the coffin. Tomorrow, it will be taken on a gun carriage from the palace to Westminster Hall, where there will be a sermon by the Archbishop of Canterbury. The Queen will lie in state there for 4 days so members of the public can pay their respects. Her funeral is set for Monday at Westminster Abbey. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Well, Monday night were the Emmys, and they did not disappoint fans. Fox's Michelle Polino has more on this from Hollywood.
The 74th annual Emmys had some surprising moments and some dramatic ones. But this time, the honorees and the host steered clear of making any political statements. There were, of course, some minor jabs taken by SNL's Bowen Yang and Martin Short, both mentioning Mar-a-Lago. But the night really belonged to The White Lotus. The showrunner, writer, and director Mike White collecting 2 trophies, and Jennifer Coolidge, outstanding supporting actress, who poked fun at herself.
You know, I took a lavender bath tonight, and right before the show, and it made me swell up inside my dress.
Clip courtesy of the Television Academy and NBC. Succession and Ted Lasso took top honors for drama and comedy series. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
And crews have located the wreckage of that float plane that crashed near Whidbey Island in Washington State on Monday night. That crash killed all 10 people that were on board that plane. Primary day on Tuesday as well in 3 states as we get closer to the midterm elections, now less than 2 months away. I'm Ted Lindner on the Fox News Rundown.
This is the Fox News Rundown.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and NewstalkSTL.com. St. Louis's place to talk.
Because that's where the votes are getting stolen. When you get into the facts and logic and reason thing, it drives me crazy because you're right.
I call it the oh my God virus.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
Do you live in St. Charles County? Then you can get Mid-Rivers News Magazine delivered free to your home just by asking for it. Mid-Rivers News Magazine is the only print source for the political, school, business, and sports news happening in your hometown. Simply visit midriversnewsmagazine.com/subscribe to get a copy delivered to your mailbox. Or pick up a free copy at all area Deerbergs and Schnuck stores. Mid-Rivers News Magazine. Anybody who wants it, gets it. Anybody who gets it, wants it. Subscribe for free today.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Jeffrey Toobin is leaving CNN. He's finally retiring after the big Zoom meeting thing. But I didn't realize, Ken, that he was in The Karate Kid. I didn't realize that.
Oh, Jeffrey Toobin?
Yeah.
What did he do?
Wax on,
wax off.
That's right.
He said it.
You got me. Gotcha. And he said it, I didn't say it. So that's great. So you're in trouble, not me.
Vic Porcelli, weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Colombo here for Agers Heating and Air Conditioning. Putting an Agers system in our new home was our number one priority because Agers' number one priority is doing right by the customer. St. Louis weather is unpredictable, but no matter what's happening outside, having a new HVAC system from Agers will ensure your family is safe and comfortable inside. Whether you need repairs or replacement, Agers has you covered with the clarity and attention to detail your home deserves. Contact Agers now at 636-242-6515 or through their website, callagers.com.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is a locally owned and operated family business for more than 28 years, featuring exclusive products, unbeatable prices, and expert installation. You can choose from a wide variety of flooring options, including carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, plus many other options. And you'll gain a peace of mind knowing that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's. You can shop in-store at one of their 3 convenient locations or shop from home online. Check out everything Michael's Flooring has to offer at igotfloored.com.
Whether at home or at work, you're mobile. So when you're mobile, stay mobile. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the News Talk STL app in the App Store or at NewstalkSTL.com.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, many timeshare owners are very upset because their yearly dues have nearly doubled. Well, Lone Star will guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. With their A-plus rating at the Better Business Bureau, clients know that Lone Star Transfer is a company you could trust. For a free consultation, please go to LoneStarTransfer.com or call 855-551-7066. On this Tuesday, in less than 2 months, Americans will either vote to save their country or to allow the progressive chaos to continue. It is as simple as that. Mine is not a party analysis. Democrats are obviously failing across the country. There's no question about it. But Republicans don't even have a leader. Donald Trump is a populist, not a traditional grand old party guy. He obviously marches to a different drum, one he exclusively plays. So independent voters who don't like Trump do not have much incentive. The sad truth is most voters will not show up this November 8th. Despite all the economic pain, all the violent crime, all the anarchy surrounding the border, millions of Americans will sit the midterms out. Now, that gives the dark money forces of evil, the far left subversives like George Soros, a fighting chance. It will not be about election fraud in November. It will be about awareness of how damaged America really is. And only we, the people, can do something about it. But again, I expect a fairly low turnout on November 8th because sadly, do not care about their country. Back after this. I am excited about a new streaming platform called VidGo. VidGo gives you the freedom to be entertained at a price you can afford. VidGo has all of my favorite live sports networks. They have a great choice of news. All of that for $59 a month. You deserve the freedom to be entertained at a price you and your family can afford. Please go to VidGo, VIDGO.com/Bill to check it out. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the NewstalkSTL Weather Center.
Another cool, dry morning under clear skies. Really comfortable out there with low humidity and temperatures in the 50s. A warm day under sunny skies. The high 82 degrees, but the humidity's down. Lots of sunshine today, and clear skies continue tonight. It's going to be a beautiful night at the ballpark for the Cardinals and the Brewers. Overnight lows in the upper 50s tonight and a high tomorrow in the mid-80s, remaining sunny with that low humidity. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
News, analysis, opinion. Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Let's get the conversation started, St. Louis. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
When we're talking about politics, election year, we're talking about the policies. What's the governor doing? What's the county executive doing? What's the state legislature doing? What's the mayor doing? All of these things from a radio station like this or from your favorite or least favorite cable news outlet, it's all got to be based on something. And in this country right here, in theory, we base this on the foundation, the founding documents. We base it on our Constitution to keep government in line and preserve our rights and give us the guidepost for where we're supposed to go here in the United States. Well, it's weird that we at times have to have a conversation about why the Constitution is still relevant, because we've got people arguing that it's not. I'm joined now by John Stossel. John Stossel TV is. If you haven't checked it out on YouTube and social media, you really need to do it. Obviously, I could go through a long list of accomplishments, John, to do the introduction, but I'll just say, John Stossel, we know who you are. I've admired your work for years. I really appreciate you being on the program. Let me start there with the basis is the fact that before we get into what's going to happen on Thursday, is that there are people still questioning or are questioning whether or not the U.S. Constitution remains relevant in the country. Is that a good thing that we renew the conversations, or should we be a little bit caught off guard or a little bit worried that there are people saying, "Nah, that's just an old piece of paper"?
I don't think you can avoid that, given that the original Constitution treated black people as only part of a person. These were, by today's reasonable standards, racist white people. So why should we follow what they said? Except for the fact that this document somehow made a country that became the most prosperous and good for even poor people and all kinds of minorities than any country before. And we weren't sure that this would be a successful experiment, and it largely has been.
The event that's happening on Thursday, you're the featured moderator. You're driving this conversation. It's called The Constitution, a Love-Hate Relationship. So I love that you set up our discussion like that, John. And this is being presented by the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise. Different perspectives, one international, that's going to happen on Thursday. And so when you go into it, with the arguments that you're hearing from whether it's academia or the left or the moderate, whoever it is that you want to put on there, what's the right way to have a conversation like this that hopefully is going to happen on Thursday to say, okay, here's why it's relevant, whether it's perfect or not. Here's why we should still pay attention today.
The right way is to have an argument and have someone who thinks it's the right thing and we should follow it to the letter, and someone else who says why it's not, and it's faulted in all kinds of ways and we should change it. It's interesting that the First Amendment was not in the Constitution, that they reopened the thing and said, wait a second, we have to add things like free speech. And now you've got these largely young kids saying, no, there's no room for free speech if the speech is sexist or racist. Sexist is another issue that people have a right to complain about. These were all men making these rules. Only through speech and fighting and arguing rather than shooting and stabbing can we sort these things out. And look at how America in lickety-split time has changed, I think, for the better in attitudes towards gay people. We've gone from Presidents Obama and Clinton opposing gay marriage to most people now supporting it. We've gone from cops beating up gay people for sport to that not happening and gays being treated as just regular Americans within 20 years? And it happened because of open speech, because people could discuss these things. And the majority saw that what bigots were saying was ugly and wrong, and that allowed attitudes to change, but only because people were free to be bigots and say what they think. When it's in secret, it causes the conspiracies and suspicions, and nothing changes.
Are there threats to the constitutional foundation of the country today? I mean, we talk a lot about, cancel culture and all that kind of stuff, but are there actual threats to these, free speech rights and other freedoms that we have through the constitutional foundation?
Yes. You've got these companies and colleges saying you must not talk about this. You can't say this out loud because somebody might have their feelings hurt. So it's an act of violence for you to say them. and we'll kick you out if you do.
And you've run into this recently as well. I mean, our radio station here, we were almost immediately thrown off YouTube because of, just talking about questioning, some of the narratives that were out there at the time. And so our station itself was kicked off. You're dealing with this now, particularly with Facebook trying to do your reporting, and it has to do with the environmentalism and it has to do with the climate issues that are out there. What is it that Stossel TV is dealing with right now? Because I know a lot of other people are dealing with stuff that's similar regarding your ability to put ideas out into that sort of ideas of the marketplace.
Yeah, it's upsetting. I used to get most of my views for Stossel TV on Facebook, and now I get them on YouTube. YouTube hasn't cut me back, fortunately, so far, knock on wood. But I had one video where 3 climate scientists said, look, the climate is warming, but it's not a crisis. We can adjust to this. Holland adjusted to it years ago with much inferior technology. They built those dikes, and they worked. And we can do this, and we shouldn't cut off our prosperity and feed huge amounts of money to Al Gore's investors doing nonsense that's not going to make any difference. And they wanted to debate environmental alarmists, and no one would come. And I did a video on that, and it got 20 million views on Facebook. And Facebook has appointed what it then called fact checkers to police terrible misinformation. And one of these groups that they appointed is the Poynter Institute, a second-rate journalism group that's made up of all left-wing people. And they approve as fact-checkers a group called Science Feedback, based in France, also Climate Feedback. And they declared this piece misleading, partially false. And after they did that, my views on Facebook are cut way back. You assume that something goes out in Facebook, it goes to all your friends or all the people who might be interested. But no, it doesn't. Facebook only sends them to people who pay to have them sent, or to some of your friends. And once Climate Feedback criticizes something as false, they do it twice. And they also, my other story which they attacked was one on the California wildfires, where I had on as a guest Michael Schellenberger, who argued correctly that most of the fires are caused not by climate change, as the ridiculous governor said, but by poor forest management. And this group, Climate Feedback, said this is false, and they put up a quote saying the fires are caused by poor management, not climate change, as if that was a quote in my words. But I actually acknowledged that climate change played a part and said mostly by bad management. But look, climate change did play a part. California has warmed 3 degrees in I forget how many years. And they just ignore that part of it. And they sent it to their so-called reviewers, scientific reviewers, have little pictures of them on their page. And I contacted those reviewers, interviewed 2 of them, and they said, well, if you're talking to me like I watched your video, I never did.
Jeez.
And my jaw dropped, and they didn't show them to their scientific advisors, but they smear me anyway. So after those 2, my Facebook just cut my reach. And my goal in life now, I'm not looking to make money. I just want to reach people. And this little group of climate activists who wants everyone really scared is able, through their deal with Facebook, to just cut me off.
This Thursday, I'm sorry, John, I apologize.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say,
just going to add that Facebook has the right to do whatever it wants, but they don't have a right to lie about me and leave that quote up and say things that I never said and claim I said them. So I am suing Facebook, trying to get them to take that down, but they won't. so far.
Yeah, we've had the similar issue with social media as well here. All right, it's called The Constitution, a Love-Hate Relationship. It happens Thursday, 6 o'clock Central Time on YouTube Live. It is free to watch, but if you go to hammondinstitute.org, you can RSVP, and John, people can actually send in questions. John, I really appreciate it. I've really enjoyed visiting with you.
Thanks, Mike.
We've got the news roundup coming your way in just about 4 minutes right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Let's get the day started right. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
The agents used to say, listen, embrace the suck. We're stuck here for a couple weeks. There's nothing you're going to do about it.
Bongino.
Does this guy suck so bad? Have large swaths of the American electorate just gotten so used to the suck that they embrace it?
Weekdays at 11 on News Talk STL.
Since 2007, the state of Missouri and local governments have handed out almost $5 billion in tax subsidies or abatements to private developers. That money could have gone to basic services like schools and public safety. And studies show these subsidies don't produce the promised jobs and growth. If developers want to build a sports stadium or shopping mall, why should they be given our tax dollars to do it? It's time to reform economic development subsidies. The Show Me message has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Stay top of mind with your customers, stand out from the competition, and drive productivity with a podcast for your business from Epic STL Podcasts. Log on to newstalkstl.com and click on the Epic STL Podcast button to learn more.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-281-4224. 800-281-4224. 800-281-4224. That's 800-281-4224.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Here's what the illiberal left does not get.
Live and local.
We're at least going to talk to the person who is on the ballot, and let's see how serious she is about running.
This is News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Oh boy, did things get very, very interesting overnight. I mean, we went from, the St. Louis County executive's race is a tragic cause to we've got ourselves a race on our hands. Are you cool with who the Republicans nominated? We'll get to that in just a minute or two. Also here today, tension is building after a police-involved shooting in North City. Yesterday, remember Ken early on, I said, man, something's going on with the traffic. I-55 is backed up in this area. And it looks like that was because police were shutting down some areas to do an investigation to an overnight shooting late Sunday, early Monday morning. And that was part of the investigation. It actually wasn't a wreck.
Oh, okay.
And so a 16-year-old boy was shot and killed. And this has to do with a confrontation with police, or at least police say that it was a confrontation. And there's a reason. I mean, okay, I don't mean to be callous, and I'm not callous because I'm very, very, very concerned about what's happening in the region. But this isn't a normal shooting. It's not even a normal shooting with police, and I think we need to keep an eye on this case, and I'll explain why here in just a little bit.
Okay. Was he armed?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Everybody agrees with that.
Okay.
Everybody agrees on that case, even his family, who is, the media demanding justice. But they acknowledge that he was armed in the situation. All right. Also, we're going to tell you a little bit later on today how to help our warriors work through PTSD. We're going to do that at 8:05. I really hope that you are there to hear that conversation. All right. Here is the update. And I'm gonna admit, I did not see this coming.
The familiar name is switching parties to take on St. Louis County Executive Sam Page in November. The GOP just announced Mark Mantovani as their candidate. He has never held a political office before and lost in the last two Democratic primaries in 2018 and 2020. Mantovani replaces Catherine Pinner, who dropped out of the race after winning the Republican nomination in August.
Okay, that is KMOV's Corey Stark. We are going to get into this at 6:05. A lot of different layers on this. And by the way, Mark Mantovani is going to be on this program tomorrow at 7:05, I think is what we scheduled for him to be on. But this is interesting.
Yeah, it really is.
Reality is that, you're going to have a Democrat elected. You could either have Sam Page, the authoritarian, or Mark Mantovani, the much more moderate Democrat who's now going to be on the Republican primary ticket. Fascinating situation.
Yeah, we'll be really interested to find out his stance on quite a few popular items.
Yes. And to me, the question over shutdowns, lockdowns, governmental authority is primo in this. It is a complex conversation. So we're going to start that at 6:05, like I said. All right. Donald Trump's legal team and the Justice Department are still negotiating. They are closer to apparently an agreement over the appointment of a special master to review documents that were taken by the FBI from Trump's home in Florida. Fox News' Matt Finn has the update.
It appears both sides agree on a single nominee for a special master to review the documents, and that person is former Judge Raymond Dearie, a former top prosecutor in the Eastern District of New York. He's a former Reagan appointee. Former President Trump golfed in Virginia Monday as his lawyers submitted a filing that said they have specific reasons why the government's nominees are not preferred for that special master. The Trump team and DOJ disagree on what duties the special master will have. Trump's team wants the special master to review all of the documents seized. The DOJ does not think that special master should inspect classified documents or resolve claims of Trump's executive privilege.
Basically, from what I'm reading, look for this to take 2 or 3 months is what this looks like.
Yeah, and one of the things I've been reading is that one of the reasons why they don't want the top secret material, they're calling it, to be examined is because some are saying that it's not top secret.
Well, that's what they'll take the 2 or 3 months, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the vast different things that people are saying. You okay over there?
Oh no, I had it's the allergy.
Oh yeah,
crap in the morning.
There it is. All right, keep your eye on this one. St. Louis City Police were involved in a shooting, and a 16-year-old is dead on this. And this happened at a gas station in North City. And we're going to get into this more at 6:20 because there's several layers to this that make me a little bit concerned that this could have the foundation of one of those things that builds up into unrest and protest and all that sort of thing. A couple of the basic things is that police say that they saw the 16-year-old, and we'll have his name and all that sort of thing here in a few minutes, along with some others who just ran when the cops walked around. They were not in uniform. They were not in marked cars, but they were in the vest that had the word police on it. He ran, he tripped, his gun fell out. Even his family acknowledges that he did have a handgun. And then he went to go back and grab the gun, and that's apparently when he was shot. And so the family is arguing that this is, he wasn't pointing it at them. We don't know. We don't know if there's video of this. The police officers were not in marked cars and they weren't in a uniform, so they didn't have a body camera. And several shots were fired. And so I think this could be the kind of thing that builds into some kind of unrest. My hot take is let's get the facts first. on this, but I know that people don't always do that, unfortunately.
Not always, hardly ever.
Exactly. So we'll do that around 6:20. All right. Ukraine's president accusing Russian troops of deliberately targeting civilians after being pushed back by Ukrainian forces. Ukrainian forces had another big day of gains on Monday, pushing Russia back to the northeastern border. Fox's Jeff Paul has more from Ukraine.
Some brought to tears as they welcome Ukrainian soldiers to the Kharkiv region. After more than 200 days of war, they are finally free of Russian occupation.
I still can't believe they have gone, and we are out of the spirit of death.
One by one, blue and yellow flags are raised to the tops of buildings in more than 30 territories and counting. Abandoned Russian tanks now dot the sides of roads.
The Russians were here in the morning. Then at noon, they suddenly started shouting widely and began to run away.
All proof a Ukrainian counteroffensive is working. However, as Russian troops pull back, many in the region are left without running water and electricity as strikes continue.
All right. And of course, a lot of conflicting reports that are happening out there, but it looks like Ukraine is gaining some ground on that. All right, just ahead here, the second place Brewers tonight going to be in town at Busch Stadium, take on the first place Cardinals. Thank you very much. That first pitch is at 6:45. Here's why this one's important, is because the Cardinals have an 8-game lead over the Brewers in the NL Central. And so the Brewers, in order to be in any kind of position to try to chase and knock the Cardinals off the first place perch, they'd have to sweep this one. And so the Cardinals really need to get, I think, 2 of the wins out of this series.
I'm Missouri's Secretary of State, Jay Ashcroft. Voting is a right and a responsibility. You can always vote a provisional ballot on Election Day, but using a photo ID is the best way to vote. A valid Missouri driver's license, for example. If you need an ID, my office can help you get one for free. Either way, your vote counts. Check out sos.mo.gov or call my office. And remember, in Missouri, if you're registered, you can vote.
Sponsored by Missouri Secretary of State.
Columbo and Katie.
I think America is progressive enough that we would be more than happy to put a woman in the White House. It's got to be the right woman. As a woman, I am not just going to pick you because you are my same gender. If it's a man and a woman, if you don't have the credentials, if you don't have the values and the morals that I believe in, and the man does, that's what I'm going to pick. We just haven't presented the right woman in America to be put up on the presidential stage.
Tony Columbo, Katie Fitzpatrick. Weekdays at 2 on Newstalk STL.
Are you looking for the cheapest prices on car insurance? Then call the Cheap Car Insurance Hotline right now. Hey, you're guaranteed to save money on your car insurance. Most car insurances can be canceled at any time. That means if you find a better deal, you can switch right away. We're not just one company. We offer most of the major brands of car insurance. We're like a discount supermarket for car insurance. And it doesn't matter if you have a good record or a bad driving record. Our agents are experts at finding you the right car insurance for your needs. Our average customer saves hundreds of dollars a year when they call us to switch. So why don't you make this 100% free call right now and see how much you can save on your car insurance. Paid for by AIS Insurance.
800-721-5741. 800-721-5741. 800-721-5741. That's 800-721-5741.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Ukrainian forces have suddenly gained the upper hand, but that is not silencing Russian guns. The war in Ukraine rages on.
Ukraine's lightning advance has had Russian troops on the run in the country's northeast. That's not stopped the Russian attacks, though. Firefighters have been kept busy in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, and a constant target of shelling, as has been Nikopol, across the river from the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant.
The situation is untenable.
International Atomic Energy Agency Chief Rafael Grossi.
And we see that one day we repair one line only to see it go down the next day and to wonder what is going to happen.
He says the warring sides must agree to a nuclear safety zone. I'm Ben Thomas.
King Charles visiting Northern Ireland today, the latest leg of his tour of the nations that make up the United Kingdom. Meanwhile, thousands of people lined up through the night, filing past Queen Elizabeth's coffin at St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh, Scotland. A GOP Senate candidate takes the vice president to task for her rosy assessment of conditions the U.S. southern border.
After Vice President Harris said over the weekend,
the border is secure.
Colorado's underdog Republican candidate Joe O'Dea told the Salem radio network,
she's just delusional.
O'Dea noting that more than 2 million people have already crossed the border illegally this year.
We've got fentanyl at an all-time high. It's killed 1,800 Coloradans in this past year.
Republicans are hoping O'Dea can pull off an upset and flip Colorado's Democratic-held Senate seat in November. Bob Agnew reporting.
The Justice Department says it is willing to accept one of former President Trump's picks for a special master to review the seized Mar-a-Lago documents. The final decision on who will serve as a special master is up to a federal judge overseeing the case. Wall Street, Dow futures up 192 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
We did see some big delays downtown until just a few minutes ago. They have reopened all the lanes eastbound on 44 between the Poplar Street Bridge and Madison. That was some overnight road work. There was also a crash on eastbound 70 at Hanley that had the highway shut down, but that is cleared as well. So we're doing just fine now. This report sponsored by LP SmartSide Trim and Siding. Visit lpcorp.com/pro. I'm Joe Sonderman. That's the latest from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Are you looking for siding that is a cut above the rest? LP SmartSide Trim and Siding helps you efficiently install more siding in less time. Side with advanced durability. Side with LP SmartSide Trim and Siding. Visit lpcorp.com/pro to learn more.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Another cool, dry morning under clear skies. Really comfortable out there with low humidity and temperatures in the 50s. A warm day under sunny skies, the high 82 degrees, but the humidity is down. Lots of sunshine today, and clear skies continue tonight. It's going to be a beautiful night at the ballpark for the Cardinals and the Brewers. Overnight lows in the upper 50s tonight and a high tomorrow in the mid-80s, remaining sunny with that low humidity. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by The Dental Link. Call Dr. Alan Link today, 314-794-6464 to schedule your free consultation. Offices in Baldwin and Melville, 314-794-6464.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
It's Tuesday, and at 4:25, we'll have David Stokes from the Show Me Institute and Andrew Pollock at 5:25, father of a Parkland High School shooting victim.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 3:30 on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
and I'm all out of bubble.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
We have a hope.
Get up, in case you hear the alarm. Get up.
What do you call a genius in President Biden's Homeland Security Department? A visitor.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, in case you hear the alarm. Get up.
I've gone from, all right, just we're going to have to take our lumps and write off this race for St. Louis County Executive to all of a sudden going, ooh, boy, we got something here. I did not see this one coming. I'm Mike Ferguson. It is 6:06. Susie Moore in for Gabe Pfeiffer today. Gabe is off sciencing rockets this week.
Yes.
So, Susie, good to see you again. Hello.
Thanks.
Hello.
Good to see you
And,
too.
Hi, Susie.
Hi,
course,
Ken.
Ken Williams is here as well. Okay, I want to get to that in just a second. Quick note, if you live in the city of St. Louis, as opposed to the county, obviously, there's an election today.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow.
So he's like, what? Yeah, they're expecting an absolutely minuscule turnout, maybe 10%. This is for the Board of Aldermen president, and I believe this is the only thing on the ballot.
Okay.
And so what you have here is Megan Green versus Jack Kodar, and these are both alder critters. And so
Alder
Megan
critters.
Like Congress critters,
Yeah.
alder critters. Yeah.
Megan Green is a far left extremist.
Right.
Jack Kotar, from what I can tell, is a leftist.
Okay.
So it's basically what
Matter of degrees.
Yes. What level of degrees are you looking for? When Cori Bush and Tashara Jones get really excited about Megan Green, you know it's going to be bad. But that's where it's at. And that election happens today. And this is just a special election. And then they've got to turn around and vote for it all over
In
again
November.
In November. So this
Yeah.
is actually kind of silly that this is happening. But there it is. So if you're in the city, that's what's up with you today. Okay, I get a text late last night from Tim Jones. St. Louis Republicans just nominated Mark Mantovani to run in the St. Louis County Executive's race. And huh?
Isn't he
That's
a Democrat?
interesting.
Yeah, he's a Democrat. And now he is, I think everybody would agree, not an extremist Democrat.
No.
By any stretch. You know, he's more of that kind of older school liberal, you know.
Classical liberal almost now.
Yeah, I wouldn't say classical liberal. That's almost like
That's true.
Yeah, because believe me, my wife will debate you on that.
I know.
Term. She loves that term. But he's more of that sort of old-fashioned liberal Democrat.
Right.
And I say liberal, I mean like, you know, you're kind of, I don't know,
Like Dick
Gephardt,
Mhm.
you know, maybe more Ike Skelton type.
Sure.
So he's not a conservative, but he's not a left winger.
Right.
Now, this brings on an interesting situation because, first of all, to me, job number one is defeat Sam Page.
Yeah.
Now, Mark Mantovani is going to be on the show with us tomorrow.
Great.
Right around 7:05. So I reached out to his campaign folks. He actually has campaign folks. As opposed
what
to
a
the
novel
original.
concept.
Right, yeah. And said, hey, I'd love to get you on. I'm the morning guy on NewstalkSTL. And they texted back, said, send us dates, times. So I gave them a couple. They couldn't make it work today, but we are going to make it work tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to this. He's not going to agree with the Republican Party platform in a number of areas, but everybody knows that going in, and they knew that last night at the Central Committee or the County Committee meeting.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's a deal breaker in this case, but there may be some people who are doing the purity test and they're not going to like that.
Sure.
It comes down to how badly do you want to beat Sam Page, because this is a guy who can raise the money and has the money.
Right.
He can run a real campaign. And I am telling you, just from my conversations late last night, I was up a little past my bedtime.
Oh.
He's going to run a real campaign. He's going to run an aggressive campaign. This guy wants to win and beat Sam Page.
How close was the last primary between him and Page?
Page won so the first time they ran against each other, it was fairly close.
Okay.
And then the second time Page, was a little bit more
as the incumbent at that point.
As the incumbent.
Right.
But here's what's happened in the meantime. Sam Page abused his authority, attacked businesses, attacked churches, attacked school children, and
attacked citizens of the county.
Tried to order us to stay in our homes as though he has that authority.
Mm-hmm.
So memories are short in politics.
Yes, they are.
Very short. Voters are angry right now saying, I'm going to remember this on election day. A lot of times they don't. Even something as horrible as what Sam Page did to the people of St. Louis County. And then you look at the economic results. what's happening. Decreased population, decreased businesses. He wants to take $1 million and use it to help pay for abortions. I mean, he's like, well, not the abortion, just the travel and all the logistics and everything around it. And so he is basically gotten so comfortable in his authoritarianism that he feels that he can move to the extreme fringe of the left. And so now Republicans have a choice. Do you still compete with Sam Page and now possibly beat him this time? Or do you say, well, this isn't a lifelong Republican, so, I'm not going to do it. I mean, I'm curious what your thoughts are, because I know from the news reports, there were people on different perspectives on that. 314-912-1019.
Well, there are other things you have to consider too, like Sam Page's bad taste in hiring. I mean, he has an awful, and I mean awful track record when you consider Faisal Khan, Calvin. What's the guy's
Freaky Cal?
Freaky Cal. And then who's the other guy who was running the jail, right? Wasn't
there was
a big
one.
issue with another one. But just that
are you talking about the guy under federal indictment?
That guy.
That guy, right? Yeah.
And then his choices of people he hired, like Fenton Communication. I mean, there are so many different things about Sam Page. It's not just the main things, of course, are the mandates, but there are so many other things involved that you've got to vote for somebody else. I mean,
we could go down the list. We could go down the list of the county council declined to appoint, to the
Charlie Dooley.
Yeah, Dooley. And the board said no. And Sam Page says, well, a couple people weren't here. I know they would have voted my way. So I'm just assuming that they voted for my guy. I'm just going to declare that the vote really wasn't the vote. This is a phenomenally corrupt politician. And there are times where I think a purity test is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are deal breakers for me where I'm saying I the outcome of this, notwithstanding, I'm voting my purity test here. Other times you say, what's the bigger picture? And I want to talk to Mark Mantovani tomorrow and find out if this is one of those times where you say, what's the bigger picture here, Susie?
I have mixed feelings about this. I'm still processing it. I'm no longer a resident of St. Louis County, so I won't be voting in this. So that's one thing I have to take into consideration. But were I still voting in St. Louis County, I would be giving it serious consideration because I think it's very clear from the reasons we've just stated that he would be preferable to Sam Page. Now, here's where I'm hung up. I think you can convince a swath of typically Republican voters that he's basically lesser of two evils. I'm not calling Mark Mantovani evil. No. I'm just saying he's preferred to Sam Page, even if he's not really what they would consider a Republican. I think you can convince a swath of them. I think there are going to be people that are like, no way, no how. I know he was a Democrat. I'm not voting for him no matter what. What I'm not sure about is those people who are typically Democratic voters who maybe aren't enthralled with Sam Page, but maybe don't have the opposition to Sam Page that we've just voiced because they are aligned with him ideologically more so. I'm just thinking of people that I know, like in my family, that are Democrat voters that maybe don't love Sam Page, but I don't know if they're going to get all riled up and think, okay, well, it's time to switch up with this guy that's kind of an unknown quantity because he hasn't been
elected.
Right.
He's run. I mean, we know he is.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. You think there are enough Democrats who are saying Page is really bad? I don't want to vote against my party, but this guy's really bad. And, Mark Mantovani is pretty clear about where he comes from on, a number of issues important to Democrats. So he truly is, by definition, going to be a Republican in name only in this race. I mean, that's we all agree on that. And the question is that a good or bad thing? And when it comes to Sam Page, I'm open to be persuaded, but I'm not sure it's a bad thing right now.
I don't know because I haven't heard from my people that I know, friends, family, whatever, that are Democrats in St. Louis County, much about it one way or the other. We've talked about it a lot here.
Right.
We're like political junkies.
Right.
We're completely dialed in. I haven't heard a lot. So I don't know.
That's what I think makes one of the things that makes this such a fascinating turn of events.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think another part of it is you've got Democrats sitting there saying, I actually have two Democrats I could be voting for right now.
Yeah.
I have a choice here where it's a kind of a rare choice.
Yeah.
And if they don't like Sam Page at all, if there's something about Sam Page, there are many things to choose from. So if there's just one or two things that they don't like about Sam Page, it might lean that way toward the other candidate.
I am convinced Sam Page is the most hated politician in the region,
and I'm
and
not
that
convinced
includes
of that.
I'm
not.
Yeah, what you're not convinced?
No.
Oh, I am. I mean, even Democrats don't like him. They'll be loyal to the party, but I think the people who are passionate, like he did the right thing, tough choice, right call. I think that's. I don't even think that's the vast majority of Democrats.
No, but I don't think he's hated the way that we talk about him here.
Oh, I think compared to every other politician, I think he's more hated than anybody else. Not to the level, obviously, that a conservative talk show host hates the guy.
Right.
I never said I hated him.
I hate him, and I still say that lightly.
No,
I mean
know.
truly. I'm very, very handful of people I say I hate, and he's one of them.
I said I don't like anything he stands for.
I'm not a fan. I will say that.
I hate him. And I don't say that lightly. And I know it's unchristian of me, but I just do. 314-912-1019. Let's talk about it on 1019-94.1 News Talk STL.
This is your cousin. Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning, made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
To give me more information
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
There's still a little leftover heavy traffic downtown, 44 eastbound, roughly between the north of the Poplar Street Bridge area and Madison on westbound 70. That's due to some overnight road work. The lanes are open, so that'll start to thin out. That was our one trouble spot so far. This report sponsored by InvisibleFence.com, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Invisible Fence Brand's mission is to keep pets happy and safe. Their containment systems are the most advanced on the market, giving your pet freedom and you confidence in their safety. For a limited time, get $150 off your system. Schedule your consultation at InvisibleFence.com.
Hey, Columbo here, and many of you know that one of my favorite things to do when I have some free time is to get out on the water and go fishing. And the folks at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton are the people you should see before your next fishing trip. No matter what you're fishing for, they have everything you need, from gear to lures to live bait. Plus, they can even set you up on a guided fishing tour on the Mississippi River. Make sure the tackle box is ready for your next trip by visiting Bluff City Outdoors at 2813 East Broadway in Alton and BluffCityOutdoors.com.
Summer means you're constantly on the go, so let Steph's Pizza make mealtime simple and good. Dine in, pick up, delivery, even DoorDash. Steph's Pizza is known for great pizza, but they also have pasta and more. With 4 locations in St. Peter's on Jungerman, on Elm at 370 in Zumbel, on Winghaven Boulevard right next to MasterCard, and in the Chesterfield Valley on Long Road. Check them out at Steph'sPizza.com and simplify your summer meals.
Columbo and Katie.
Equality means equality. It means you don't discriminate against anybody.
And what are we teaching the next generation? The entire American struggle, it wasn't pretty. It was our history is very ugly. But we have the opportunity to show our younger generation, see how ugly this was? Do you see brother fighting against brother to make things right? Because that's how much we care.
Tony Columbo, Katie Fitzpatrick. Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Now, the Onder Prescription with Dr. Bob Onder.
A famous poem includes these words. Of all sad words of tongue or pen, the saddest are these, it might have been. In 2014, despite very slim Republican majorities, the Missouri legislature passed a major tax cut bill, Senate Bill 509. At the time, many of us thought a lot about what might have been if only we had a few more votes or a Republican governor. We now have supermajorities and a Republican governor, and that governor is calling us into special session on taxes. What I fear, and what it looks like the special interests in the Jeff City Swamp plan, is that all we are going to do is move up the Senate Bill 509 tax cuts that we were going to get anyway. which would allow 509 tax cut law to expire, to go away rather than extending it, and pass 11 new and existing tax credits. If so, once again, the Missouri legislature will have the chance to swing for the fences and instead strike out. We can and should do better. I'm Dr. Bob, and that's my prescription.
Find more Dr. Bob Onder at bobondermo.com. If you find yourself feeling out of place in the world, it's comforting to know conservative values haven't been abandoned everywhere.
The far left wants to destroy conservative values in America.
This is News Talk STL. Welcome home. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the Morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com.
Okay, just ahead here, there was tragically, there was another shooting, police-involved shooting. I mean, I don't want this to sound callous, Susie, but there are shootings pretty much every night somewhere around the region,
much,
you know,
yeah.
2 or 3 a week in St. Louis City. There was one that ended up with a 16-year-old being killed. And I am saying, I think we need to keep an eye on this particular case because this is the kind of thing that ends rightly or wrongly, you know, in kind of unrest situations. Sure. And so I'm concerned about that. So we'll get to that and I'll tell you why in just a little bit. It is 6:22. That's Susie Moore in for Gabe Pfeiffer. Ken Williams is here. If you're just joining us, the surprising news, the Republican Party of St. Louis County last night nominates a former Democratic candidate for St. Louis County Executive, Mark Mantovani, to be the Republican nominee to challenge Sam Page. So you've got so many layers of differences here. Mark Mantovani says, listen, I still stand for the same things I stood for when I ran before. But he wants Sam Page out of office as much as anybody else. So what's your reaction to Mark Mantovani now being the Republican nominee going head to head with Sam Page again? It's going to start the day off with Dave. Hey, Dave, you're on News Talk STL.
Good morning. Hold on one second. Good morning, everyone. Mike, how are you doing? Let's start that off. That's the most important thing. How's everything going?
You know, I actually, are you talking about my eye?
Your eye, yes.
Yeah. I actually last night tested it, and I can actually see some movement and some basic, very, very blurry, very, very blobby and blurry outlines with my left eye. So I'm taking that as a sign of encouragement. I really appreciate you asking.
That's fantastic. God only gave you one set of eyes, and I know you're probably scared to death about it. So prayers to you all the time, my friend.
I really appreciate that. I mean, I sincerely mean that. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, let's get to Mr. Mantovani. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, when he ran the last time, didn't get my vote. Wasn't he one of the better together folks?
I am trying to remember if he was the better together guy or the anti-better together guy.
I don't remember, but you mean to tell me of all the Republicans, that's the best one they could come up with? How about Rick Stream? How about Tim Jones? How about Mark Carter? How about Tim Fitch?
Yeah.
That's the best they could do.
That's the question. I mean, you know, the people who put their name forward, nobody else, I think, could mount a competitive campaign.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, Dave, is that they couldn't get that campaign going. And the people that we're talking about, like you just said, those names, they're not interested.
Yeah.
Hell, why didn't they go call Charlie Dooley? You know, that's what was funny, I thought, with him and Stenger, how Stenger called him a crook, who unfortunately I voted for numerous times. What a dummy I am. But you know, when Stenger called Dooley a crook, well, who went to federal penitentiary and who didn't? At least Dooley was a crook who got away with it.
So he's more savvy.
He's a more savvy crook.
I have a soft spot for Charlie.
At least if you're going to be a criminal, be a good one. I cannot believe why other Republicans, and out of respect for you, ma'am, why are the Republicans such weenies? Oh my God! Why don't we just give it to King Page because we know what he's going to do. As Dennis Green said, we are what we thought he is. He's Adolf Hitler reincarnated. Sorry, they can say it. Why can't I?
Yeah. Hey, Dave, really appreciate it, because I know there's a variety of viewpoints on this, right. and I get them. I get
Thanks,
it. I really
Dave.
do. Now, Dave, we do have Manavani on tomorrow, so make sure you check it out. And then
I definitely will be listening. I will be listening with an open mind, Mr. Manavani. So I'm not saying you don't have my vote, but a couple $2,000 or $3,000, you could have it. That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. I need more than that.
There you go.
Hey, if they're going to be crooked, why not us?
Absolutely. And again, for the FBI that's listening, it is a joke. I make a joke about everything. These guys know that. Ken Williams has his finger on the dump button because I'm unpredictable. Thanks, guys. Love the show. Have a great day.
Thanks, Dave.
See you, Dave.
See, and I know there are people who agree with Dave. And I also know there's a lot of people who say, okay, well, wait a minute. What's the bigger picture? Is the bigger picture defeating Sam Page? I mean, the question about why couldn't the Republican Party come up with somebody more competitive, I think that is something the St. Louis County Republican Party has to address, to say, why can't we find a competitive candidate in this county? But you deal with that in the off season.
Yeah, I agree. We've talked about this a lot on this station about how, being a Republican in the city of St. Louis is an uphill battle. I mean, it's a very lopsided disbursement as far as the party alignments go. St. Louis County, while it is definitely much more Democrat than Republican, still has a fairly high Republican population.
Right.
Why does the St. Louis County GOP struggle so much in fielding strong Republican candidates? I really would like to know that. I mean, I no longer live in St. Louis County, but I lived in St. Louis County most of my life, and I've been a Republican for, over a third of my life. I don't quite understand why that is.
Or in some cases, why can't they find a credible candidate at all in high-profile races? Wesley Bell is going to be elected for the second time without a Republican opponent.
Yeah.
And Mike, you'll appreciate this. The baseball analogy has to be so fitting here, where they don't have a farm system. They really don't. I mean, you have you've got the different younger groups that are coming up, the Republicans that are coming out of colleges. They need to take some of these people and start farming them. I mean, actually start, and I don't want to say grooming, but I'm saying, mentor them.
Yeah.
Developing mentor. Yeah. And there's a couple, there's a few cases like that. I mean, that's where, Andrew Koenig, I think years ago, came out of the Young Republicans. There's a very active St. Louis County Young Republican. There's a candidate over in Manchester, Phil Olerking, who actually used to work with me at the Show Me Institute, and he's running for state representative. And so there are, you could argue Ben Brown probably.
Yeah, but he's certainly, isn't he Franklin County?
He's well, yeah, but it's the senatorial district that kind of, but the younger crop, but so there are some, but there aren't enough. And the fact that in these key races, they can't recruit somebody credible to come in and compete for them, to me shows that there's a lot of fixing that needs to be done in the St. Louis County Republican Party.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to throw stones, but it's puzzling to me.
How about we throw a pebble?
I'm going to kick a pebble your way. Let's figure out why this is such a struggle.
Right. And so, but that's the conversation they've got to have after the November elections, to sit down and do some self-reflection and go, okay, why can't we do this? And if they look at the county and say, well, it's a 45 to 55 blue, county. I'm like, okay, well, that's your job to fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's your job to change that.
We didn't all move to St. Charles County.
No. But there's a reason that a lot of them are.
That's true.
And so that's part the whole point is, why is it that way? Now with Manavani, you had a lot of Democrats that voted for him twice.
It's true.
A lot of Democrats have voted for him twice. So I am now going from my mindset that's a foregone conclusion that Sam Page wins to, okay, right, wrong, or indifferent, you've got a competitive race now.
At least. That's my thing, is compete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a competitive race. Is this a conservative, traditional Republican? No. But it comes down to who's going to be better for the county.
Right.
But I understand Dave's perspective, and I know there's a lot of people that agree with him.
Yeah.
And, I get it. But I'm looking forward to talking to Mark Manavani tomorrow.
I am too.
All right. It is right around 6:35 here. Police-involved shooting in St. Louis, North City. I am really concerned about this particular case for the bigger implications. I'll tell you why. in about 4 minutes here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning, made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the morning, The Vic Porcelli Show, Columbo and Katie, Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasevich. The St. Louis County Republican Party Central Committee nominated Mark Montavani last night to take on Sam Page in the fall for St. Louis County Executive. Catherine Penner won the GOP primary in August, but dropped out of the race in early September. A federal judge sentenced a 39-year-old St. Charles woman to 2 years of probation after an undercover agent busted her for illegally selling prescription drugs. The woman admitted to visiting a doctor and falsely claiming to need prescriptions for her and her child that included Adderall and oxycodone. The Schnucks at Mid-Rivers has issued a recall of fresh ground beef purchased on Sunday between 10:15 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. The store said that some of its ground beef may contain metal shavings, but there are currently no reported illnesses or injuries. The largest shareholder of St. Louis-based Build-A-Bear Workshop is calling for the company to buy back at least half of its stock. If it fails to do so, Cannell Capital, which owns 10.7%, wants the board of directors to resign. And in sports, starting Friday at 2 p.m., Cardinals fans can buy playoff tickets for each of the possible playoff games to be hosted at Busch Stadium in the first 2 rounds of this year's postseason. Fans can also get early access to postseason tickets by placing a deposit on season tickets. And the Cardinals welcome the Brewers to Busch for a 2-game series. Tonight's game starts at 6:45 p.m. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to newstalkstl.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
It's a little busy eastbound on 44 downtown. We had some overnight road work that caused some issues, but the lanes have been open for a little bit. 270 westbound, we are backing up, approaching West Florissant through New Florissant, headed into the work zone in North County. 55 north and south St. Louis isn't out of hand yet. It's just at the construction zone speed limit, and Poplar Street Bridge westbound still looks pretty good. This report sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. When your ride fires on all cylinders, so do you. That's why Napa's on a mission to keep you in motion. With nearly 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores and over 17,000 Napa Auto Care centers, the Napa Network has everything you need to get up and go. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Another cool, dry morning under clear skies. Really comfortable out there with low humidity and temperatures in the 50s. A warm day under sunny skies, the high 82 degrees, but the humidity's down. Lots of sunshine today, and clear skies continue tonight. It's going to be a beautiful night at the ballpark for the Cardinals and the Brewers. Overnight lows in the upper 50s tonight and a high tomorrow in the mid-80s, remaining sunny with that low humidity. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Adam, man, your aunt parties are the best. I mean, you always find the best kitchens with all the crumbs.
Thanks, man. I love finding these homes to do this at.
Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
Call All Solutions Pest Control today at 636-486-7888 and learn more about our special $67 introductory offer, or visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Do you own an annuity, either fixed rate, indexed, or variable? Are you paying high fees and getting low returns? If so, Annuity General would like you to have this free book to learn the pitfalls and mistakes of buying an annuity. The Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers contains the little-known truths about annuities, like how to help reduce your fees and increase retirement income. And it's free. That's right, free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report just for calling. We researched over 1,000 annuities and summarized rates and benefits from financially strong insurers. You get Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free, for calling Annuity General today. Hurry, supplies are limited. Call now.
800-649-8619.
800-649-8619. 800-649-8619. That's 800-649-8619.
Welcome home to St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
The MAGA Republicans are destroying America.
I mean, are you kidding me? Inflation, crime, open border.
The Democrats being exposed.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, I have a feeling we're just warming up on this turn of events.
Yeah.
With the county executive race in St. Louis County. Mark Mantovani, if you're just joining us now, the Republican nominee for St. Louis County executive. So let's come back to that around 7:05, and then 7:05 tomorrow. Mark Mantovani is going to be on this program. I'm actually really looking. Yeah. I'm fascinated to get to this conversation because yes, we want to get to a number of the issues, and if Mark's folks are listening, I am telling you right now, I am going to be asking about his take on the shutdowns, lockdowns, all of that sort of over the top response to the COVID flu bug that Sam Page did that destroyed so much and frankly so many livelihoods on this. So I am going to be asking about that. The rest of this, Mark Mantovani's always been very transparent. Here's what I am. Here's what I believe. Here's what I stand for. Yeah. And you can take it or leave it. So the question is, do you take it or do you leave it? So very, very interesting. But I can tell you this, we've gone from a race where it was a foregone conclusion to it's not a foregone conclusion anymore. You have a real, you have a real candidate now. All right. It is 6:37. That's Susie Moore in for Gabe today. Ken Williams is here. Very tragic situation happened late Sunday, maybe very early Monday morning. St. Louis teenager shot and killed in a confrontation with police officers. Police say he ran from a crime scene, and they say he reached for a gun. Fox News' Gurnell Scott has the update.
St. Louis Metro Police say its undercover officers saw several people with guns at a gas station in North St. Louis. When they approached Darrell Ross, the 16-year-old ran into an alley and through a fence opening to get away. As officers chased him, they say Ross tripped and dropped his gun. As he reached for it, police shot him. Ross was taken to a hospital where he died. It has not been said what led officers to the gas station. The cops were part of an undercover drug intervention unit. The officer-involved shooting is being investigated by the city. Gurnell Scott, Fox News.
And I've got the mayor's response here, which is very, very tepid and not a supportive one of police. It's kind of neutral, kind of neutral. So she's not throwing them under the bus completely, but she's kind of warming up her arms and shoulders to do that. So here's why I think this one might be one of those cases that grows into something else. The family has already been on TV, saying they acknowledge the gun. Right. They acknowledge that their 16-year-old son / grandson, depending on which family member you talk to, they acknowledge he had a gun. They acknowledge, everybody agrees that he dropped the gun when he tripped. Okay. And they agree that he was reaching for the gun. That's all we know. My hot take on this, let's get the facts first. There's my hot take.
That's such a novel approach.
I know. It's out there. It's wild, but let's get the facts first. Listen, I hate the fact that a young person, who could have corrected course at the age of 16, but the question's now going to come down is, first of all, were the police justified in doing this? They did apparently have vests on that said police. They were undercover, but they were wearing the vests that had that. So they weren't marked. There was no body camera footage, anything like that. So we don't know what happened or what led to it, but we know that a bunch of young people scattered when the police came around.
Here's where I stand on it. If you're 16 years old, you've got a gun, it's a sad shame, first of all.
Oh, yeah.
The second part of it is he had a gun and he was potentially able to aim it at the police. They had no choice. This is the way they're trained. If someone picks up a gun, we don't know the direction he was picking it up. We don't know anything about it. All we do know is that he did have a gun. He went back to get it. Why did he go back to get it? Did he go back to get it to run off again? Did he go back to get it to pick it up to shoot at them? We don't know any of this stuff. And that's like you said, we have to get the facts. But Matt, I've got to lean on the side of the police on this one, because you've got a 16-year-old with a gun, and he's not the only one who's involved in this situation. The police are wondering, if you're a cop standing there and you're looking at this kid with the gun, possibly, you're also wondering where those other three went.
Right.
And are they the ones that are part of it too? Do they have guns? I mean, there are so many different things. And of course you have to look at the facts, but man, I tell you, you've got to lean the police force and support them.
So I guess I look at it a couple different ways. We may never know what his intention was. Was he just instinctively reaching for it because he dropped it and he wanted to get it, or did he intend harm? We may never know that. We may not know for sure whether they knew. I mean, did they know he was a 16-year-old kid at the time? They probably didn't.
No.
I have a question, and this is going to show my ignorance, and I am a little embarrassed about it. But is it illegal for a 16-year-old to possess a gun?
Yeah.
It is?
It is.
For a 16-year-old to carry it, conceal carry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
16?
I think you can be 18.
Well, and
Well,
I know for
16,
purchase.
yeah.
I know for, and I'm not talking about purchasing, but the reason I'm asking is because those of us who are big 2A proponents talk about training kids, taking them to the range, getting them acquainted with firearms. So I want to make sure that I'm not overlooking the possibility that it probably was. I don't know where he got the gun. I don't know whether he's, had it legally, that sort of thing. I wouldn't be surprised to know it was not legal for him to be carrying.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but if you're trained with a weapon, you're trained not to drop it and then run back and get it while the police are chasing you.
No, I agree with that. But I'm
that's
just
one part of
saying
it.
the fact that he was a 16-year-old and had a gun, is that in and of itself, is that enough? I don't know.
I always thought it was 18 in Missouri. Other states have even gone
Definitely to
higher.
purchase. I just don't know about possessing or
I-
carrying. And again, he may very well not have been legally clear. I'm going to assume that he wasn't. I was trying to. I was a little hesitant about saying just the very fact that he had a gun in and of itself was a crime, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me read you the mayor's statement on this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read her statement word for word that she put out. I have been briefed on last night's officer-involved shooting in Old North. Losing our youth to violence shows how our system has failed them time and time again. Reflecting on the circumstances that led to this young man's death breaks my heart, both as a mayor and a mother of a teenage son. This comes just after a family lost their father, Bada Ali, in an officer-involved shooting last week. Again, these are the words of the mayor of St. Louis, Tashara Jones. The statement goes on to say, our communities rightfully have questions about these incidents. The Force Investigation Unit is handling both cases and will pass information on to the Circuit Attorney's Office and then on to the Civilian Oversight Board. Officers involved have been placed on administrative duty. I have also directed the Public Safety Department to release body-worn camera footage where available to the family as soon as possible. Initial reports say that they did not have body cameras because they were not in full uniform. But again, the rest of the statement goes on to say, alongside the St. Louis Board of Aldermen, my administration is working to strengthen oversight because building trust through transparency and accountability is essential. I remain fully committed to delivering effective oversight of our police department, as well as alternative responses that connect the right professionals to the right call for those experiencing mental health crises and similar challenges. That none of that addresses the behavior of what was happening at the moment.
No, that's more of a generic statement. And I don't overall have a problem with the statement itself, other than I agree it doesn't really address the situation. And I want to make clear, I mean, I'm not apprised of what exactly was going on, what the undercover officers were investigating, and this may very well be a justified shooting. I'm thinking out loud and saying, okay, what are all the factors here? Mike, you're right. We've got to wait till we know what all the facts are.
Yeah. And this one right here, that response to me says the mayor isn't ready to throw the police under the bus at the moment, but she's loosening up. She's doing some calisthenics and getting ready to.
And she leans that way anyway.
Yeah.
As far as carrying, now I'm reading this. I haven't found the age yet, but it does say here, state law does not prohibit the open carry of firearms, but does prohibit exhibiting any weapon readily capable of lethal use in an angry or threatening manner in a presence of one or more persons. And that's a Missouri statute. So
Basically, you can't point a gun and threaten somebody.
Right, which totally makes sense. Regardless of your
wave
age.
it around.
A threatening manner, which could mean picking a gun up while the police are standing there.
Well, and that's where, and it's middle of the night, apparently behind the gas station, the Shell station up there. And so I don't know if we're gonna have video. There's just so much more that we don't know than what we do know. But that's usually not enough to get people who are angry over this to say, okay, hold on, let's wait and find out the facts. They typically, what happens is emotions bubble.
Right.
And you mentioned that you think it could lean towards something that happened in 2020. And I say that it's not going to be the same thing this time.
Yeah,
I really don't think it will be.
I don't think it's like a Michael Brown level of situation. I just think that this is the type of thing that can bubble up into that.
It can. Yep. Absolutely.
But I don't think the reaction is going to be the same for the other side. I really don't. I don't think they're going to let them burn down the cities.
314-912-1019. Just ahead. Okay, much less of a conflict. It's the Great Sunflower Showdown in St. Peter's. Did you hear about this?
I did.
The city's going after this guy's going. The city's going after this guy again.
Oh my God.
Oh, for crying out loud! I'll tell you what's happening. And once again, get your thoughts on that. And then at 7:05. Democrat Mark Mantovani, former Democrat Mark Mantovani, now the Republican nominee for St. Louis County Executive. This is fascinating. A lot of ground to cover today here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. You're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Problems continue downtown. We had earlier construction work that tied things up on East 44. Now we've got a stalled vehicle stuck out in the left lane, 44 eastbound between Cole and Madison. So that traffic is backing up still back near the Poplar Street Bridge on eastbound 44. 270 westbound already slow. West Florissant to New Florissant in the work zone. 55 north, it's getting busier. Carondelet up through Virginia. Everything else still looks pretty steady. This report sponsored by InvisibleFence.com, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Invisible Fence Brand's mission is to keep pets happy and safe. Their containment systems are the most advanced on the market, giving your pet freedom and you confidence in their safety. For a limited time, get $150 off your system. Schedule your consultation at InvisibleFence.com.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL. Enable our Alexa skill.
Hello.
Hey, Alexa.
Yes, I'm listening.
Play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
When you retire, you leave a lot behind. But the one thing you take with you, a tax bill. And did you know that income taxes could be your single largest expense in retirement? The good news is, Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group, they can show you how it's possible for you to pay less to Uncle Sam with the right tax planning. And as Steve explains, we'll all have to adjust to tax changes that have been made over the past few years.
We had the Trump tax cuts. Those are going to expire. They got rid of the stretch IRA. If we've got historically low rates for at least the next 2 to 3 years, why don't we take advantage of it?
To learn more about your taxes in retirement, mark your calendars for Wednesday, September 28th at 6 p.m. at St. Peter's Cultural Arts Center. And while it's complimentary, you do need to reserve your spot today. Call 636-230-8824. Visit YourMoneyMattersSTL.com for more details.
The All Financial Group is a financial services firm that offers a broad array of products and services, including life insurance and annuities. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
I'll second guest dinners with friends because they can be interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREON info.com.
Now the O'Reilly update brings you something you might not know.
Bill O'Reilly, weeknights at 6:45. Brought to you by Gloria Lou Realty. Visit GLInternationalRealty.com.
No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.
On News Talk STL. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at Stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. News, analysis, opinion. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the Morning, made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
What do you have in your front yard? Getting landscaping, is just grass up to the house. I mean, what do you have?
I live in an apartment complex.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to worry about
There's
it.
grass. I mean,
Yeah.
there is landscaping, but
Ken, what do you have? I know you talk a lot about like getting out and doing yard work and stuff. And
we have beds and flower and I don't know.
We've got
bushes,
some like
trees.
these really cool stones that were like broken up,
like paver stones, kind of, or
well, not even paver stones. They're more natural rock.
Gotcha.
Basically, what happened is when we were redoing our backyard a few years ago, we found a bunch of this stuff underground, and so we've got that, and we've got some cool trees and plants that cost a lot of money, and they're all mulched over, and we just had them all weeded the other day. And so it looks pretty nice. And in the back, we've got some paver stones that go out to the gazebo and stuff. My neighbors have never complained. My next door neighbors are new ones who are actually longtime friends of ours. They've got some sunflowers in the front, which I actually think are pretty cool.
Love sunflowers.
Well, there's some people in St. Peter's don't like sunflowers,
which is interesting because I live in St. Peter's.
Yes. So this is your city hall then, Susie.
Yes.
Susie Moore in for Gabe Pfeiffer today. So City of St. Peter's now for the second time, they are taking a guy named Chris Bank to court because they say he has too many sunflowers and is violating the sunflower to grass ratio as prescribed in city codes, because City Hall dictates what your lawn's going to look like, people. Now they've gone after other people too for like too much of a rock garden, too many flowers, not enough grass. And so there's like a thing in St. Peter's City Hall. They will go after your ass.
Interesting. I don't know if the stories indicate what the justification is for having a set ratio. Like, is there some sort of like erosion principle involved there where if you have too many of these, it's going to create an issue with runoff?
From my time on a board of aldermen, basically a lot of times they'll take sort of a model, legislation from Missouri Municipal, League or whatever, or they'll just say, well, we just want, a green city or whatever. I don't know why they went in there. But the mayor, who was asked about this by one of the local TV stations, he's like all for the action against the citizen. Now, nobody's arguing that his lawn is not well kept.
Right. So it's not like an overgrown kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not like there's weeds and everything. And, Fox 2 talked to St. Peter's Mayor Len Pagano last month, and he said, because what happened was they were bringing it up, it got dropped, and now they're bringing it up again. And the mayor says the people have been very satisfied with our ordinance that we've had for many years. Actually, it's been there for 30 years plus. We're responding to the residents' request. We don't allow cars in the front yard. We don't allow chicken wire. This is St. Peter's. Okay, so having too many sunflowers is somehow violating a city ordinance, and that's comparable to having a dead car in your front yard.
Yeah, I feel like one of these things is not like the other.
Yeah.
The other thing is I love that the citizens of St. Peter's are very satisfied with this ordinance. The citizens of St. Peter's don't know about
They
this
don't
ordinance.
pay attention. Yeah,
we're not very satisfied with it. And frankly, as a resident of it, I think it sounds a little suspect.
Right. Well,
but I didn't know about it before.
Let's take the mayor at his word. Not having a reason not to. That some city code enforcement officer, they got called and said, listen, this guy's got a bunch of sunflowers. I know that can't be within the code.
Mhm.
And that's probably what happens because we got those calls when I was on the board of aldermen.
Sure.
Of course, I was the guy on the alderman that went,
Right.
shut up. I mean, are they keeping their property up, well, fine, leave them alone. But there are people who call and say, I don't like looking at those.
Mhm.
Well, tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not your call.
And these rules do have their place. I mean, you don't want people working on their cars in a rock driveway. They want to try and upgrade the neighborhoods and stuff. And so I understand that part of it. But when you start getting the nuance like this, I
I'm
mean,
a little puzzled.
This is a choice of a person, a certain plant, and they're saying that there's too much of it. That sounds odd to me.
It sounds weird to me too. Now, my beau also lives in St. Peters, and several years ago, we had a whole row of sunflowers in the backyard.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm curious. Like, was there some reason why that shouldn't have been there? No one complained.
Oh,
but
Susie.
Well, I mean, yeah. And to me, the bigger picture is it's your property.
Yeah.
I mean, if there are some very basics, yes, because I have seen neighborhoods where, got cars up on cinder blocks.
Right. And that's what they try to avoid.
I have seen cases where, people would, not cut their grass for months and you're getting pests and you're getting animals.
Right.
This is somebody who says, I like sunflowers and I planted sunflowers. And so this time, Chris Banks, he basically said, all right, let's go to court. Dave Rowland from the Freedom Center, Missouri, has fought cases like this in St. Peters with other people too, because they've done this with other people too. You got too many rock gardens, you got too many flowers, not enough grass. And I'm thinking, okay, this is an overly aggressive codes department, apparently. Doesn't have anything better to do than harass people for not, towing this like completely arbitrary city code. And every city has these things.
Sure.
Which they frankly shouldn't have nearly as many as they do.
Well, I'm intrigued by this. I'm going to be doing some digging.
Yes.
Not literally, but like figuratively doing some digging, because I would like to know a little bit more about this ordinance and what it is that they're saying is. And I'm also going to have to inspect this property, get a good view of what the issue is.
City code conflicts like this bring out the small L libertarian in me.
Me too.
I'm like, City Hall, back off.
Mm-hmm.
Just be happy people are taking good care of their property in town. None your business which flowers they plant, people.
None ya.
None ya. None your business. Mind your business. None ya and mind ya are connected.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Mark Mantovani being the Republican nominee for St. Louis County Executive at 7:04.
Have you been floored? Not until you've gone to Michael's Flooring Outlet. They've been a locally owned and operated family business for more than 28 years. You want variety? Michael's has carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, and many other options. Save money and get quality at Michael's. Plus, your installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's. You can shop in store at one of their 3 convenient locations or shop from home. Check out everything that Michael's has to offer at igotfloored.com.
If you believe Brandon and the supply chain issues are still in crisis, or even if you don't, hurry into Southern Armory, your Second Amendment headquarters, for the best selection of firearms, suppressors, holsters, ammunition, pepper spray, and knives. Browse through our constantly changing inventory, order something special, or have us repair or modify that firearm that you've been putting off. Try our firearms training simulator. See the demo video on our website. Come into Southern Armory, 9901 Watson Road, 1 mile east of 270 and 44, at southernarmory.com. That's southernarmory.com.
How is your car payment treating you? What if I told you you could make a free phone call right now and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Look at your car payment closely. You could be paying as high as 20% interest. Rate Genius can help you reduce your car payments by reducing your interest rate to as low as 2.48% APR. We can refinance most existing car loans or leased cars, new or used, and save you money every month. Put more money back in your pocket. The call is free to find out how low we can lower your car payment. 5 minutes of your time right now could save you hundreds of dollars a year. Call Rate Genius now.
800-764-2179. 800-764-2179. 800-764-2179. That's 800-764-2179.
Not all applicants qualify for a loan or rate savings. Actual offer terms, including APR, are determined at the time of your application based on creditworthiness, value of the vehicle, loan term, and other factors.
KLGY HD3 Clay, K270BW Bellefonte, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The line is seemingly endless. Mourners filing past the casket of Britain's late Queen Elizabeth II.
Queues stretch outside St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh as hundreds wait to pay their respects. Members of the public are viewing the late monarch's coffin after it arrived at the cathedral on Monday. King Charles III and his siblings, Princess Anne, Prince Andrew and Prince Edward, had stood in silent vigil around their mother's coffin late on Monday. The coffin, with the crown of Scotland resting on a cushion on top of it, is to stay in the 12th century cathedral through Tuesday. Late afternoon, it will begin its journey to London. Charles de Ledesma, London.
Ukrainian President Zelensky says his troops have retaken more than 2,300 square miles from Russian forces so far this month. The BBC's Hugo Bashega is in Kiev.
Most of those gains have been made in the northeast of the country, in the region of Kharkiv, which is the country's second largest city. And we've seen some pictures from those villages and towns that have been liberated, Russian military vehicles, ammunition, equipment abandoned. So these are signs that Russian forces had to flee. And there's an interesting comment coming from a Pentagon official saying that Russian forces have ceded their gains and many of these forces have returned to Russia. And this same official saying that these pictures suggest disorganized command and control from the Russian forces.
Wall Street futures higher this morning ahead of the release of the August Consumer Price Index. Right now, the Dow futures up 198 points. S&P futures ahead 27, NASDAQ futures up 86. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster. No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or down.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Problems continue downtown. We had earlier construction work that tied things up on East 44. Now we've got a stalled vehicle stuck out in the left lane, 44 eastbound between Cole and Madison. So that traffic is backing up still back near the Poplar Street Bridge on eastbound 44. 270 westbound already slow. West Florissant to New Florissant in the work zone. 55 north, it's getting busier. Carondelet up through Virginia. Everything else still looks pretty steady. This report sponsored by InvisibleFence.com, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Invisible Fence Brand's mission is to keep pets happy and safe. Their containment systems are the most advanced on the market, giving your pet freedom and you confidence in their safety. For a limited time, get $150 off your system. Schedule your consultation at InvisibleFence.com.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Another cool, dry morning under clear skies. Really comfortable out there with low humidity and temperatures in the 50s. A warm day under sunny skies, the high 82 degrees, but the humidity's down. Lots of sunshine today, and clear skies continue tonight. It's going to be a beautiful night at the ballpark for the Cardinals and the Brewers. Overnight lows in the upper 50s tonight and a high tomorrow in the mid-80s, remaining sunny with that low humidity. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
Hey, Tim Jones here with Tony Colombo for our friends Rodney and Jen Wallner at the Wallner Home Selling Team. If you're thinking about taking advantage of the market and selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now put St. Louis's #1 home selling team to work for you. Rodney and Jen have the experience and work ethic that sets them apart from all the rest. That's why they sell 15 times more homes per year than your typical realtor and have so many qualified buyers right now. They'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. The results, Tony, speak for themselves.
That's right, Tim. In fact, I recently benefited from those results personally. My wife and I couldn't be happier with the job the Wallners did for us, selling our old home in less than 2 days for significantly more than we were asking for and finding us the perfect new home. Like so many others, we loved working with Rodney and Jen, the Wallner home selling team with Berkshire Hathaway. So if you're thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD.
Decision 22 News.
Inflation, gas prices.
Decision 22 Analysis.
The things the American people want to hear about.
Decision 22 Opinion.
Same old tired talking points.
In St. Louis, Decision 2022 happens right here. News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I triple dog dare you.
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
So something very interesting happened last night.
The familiar name is switching parties to take on St. Louis County Executive Sam Page in November. The GOP just announced Mark Mantovani as their candidate. He has never held a political office before and lost in the last two Democratic primaries in 2018 and 2020. Mantovani replaces Catherine Pinner, who dropped out of the race after winning the Republican nomination in August.
That's KMOV's Corey Stark with the news that last night the Republican committee of St. Louis County, they had until I believe the end of this week to pick a candidate to challenge Sam Page for St. Louis County Executive. I think pretty much everybody had just given up on that race and just resigned ourselves to the fact that a complete authoritarian was going to walk to another victory, because Republicans didn't challenge him last time either. And I get a text late last night from Tim Jones who says, Mark Mantovani was just nominated. And I went, what? Okay, a couple things. First of all, as Corey Stark just said, he's been a Democrat. He is a Democrat.
Yeah.
He's not an extreme Democrat. He's not a fringe Democrat. He is much farther he's much closer to the center than Sam Page.
Democrat,
yeah,
right.
much
He's
closer.
not a Democrat socialist?
No, well, I don't think so. But he's certainly closer to the middle than Sam Page is, or Lisa Clancy or anybody like that. And so this was a fascinating turn of events because you all know I just given up on it. I just given up on the race. I don't think Sam Page has a cakewalk now. He's got to win because there are a lot of Democrats out there who like Mark Mantovani. So then the question is, do you like this pick? Because there were a few other people who put their name in their hat on there. I'd heard of a couple. I hadn't heard of a couple, but none of them would have been able to mount a credible, competitive campaign. They may have been good people. I don't really know. I don't know all of them, but they would not have been able to mount a competitive race. Mark Mantovani can do that.
I remember seeing a whole lot of Mantovani yard signs in Kirkwood, which surprised me.
Yeah, I saw a bunch in Creve Coeur. I mean, it's really funny when Pinner dropped out officially and it was going to be left to the St. Louis County GOP to name somebody, I immediately thought of him. And then I was like, oh, wait, no, he's a Democrat. He was, because I remember that he'd been competing against Sam Page. And then I was like, no, that was the Democratic primary. So that wouldn't work. So it is a little surprising that they went that route. And maybe maybe it'll bear fruit. I don't know.
Okay, so 314-912-1019. I want to know what you think. So there are a variety of layers of this that are fascinating to me. We all know that what I think of Sam Page. So you've got the aspect of, we want this guy out of office. We want this guy back in the private sector. What he has done to the people of St. Louis County is horrendous. So you've got somebody who can mount a credible campaign. Now, that's having said that, remember, this is not a conservative Republican. This is, I would say, a moderate liberal leaning, Democrat, not an extremist, but he's closer to the middle.
Definitely closer to the middle, but somebody who by definition would be a rhino. And I'm not saying that pejoratively. I'm saying literally he's changing parties so that he can run in this race.
Yeah.
So there are people that are going to instinctively balk against that because he isn't truly a Republican.
So that may be the question is, should Republicans balk at it? I'm not convinced that they should.
Right. I mean, they have to weigh. Is it more important to me to make sure that the person I'm voting for? I mean, obviously people switch parties.
Yeah.
Donald Trump used to be a Democrat.
I used to be
a Democrat.
I used to be a libertarian.
Yeah.
Big L libertarian.
Right.
So, and now I'm independent.
Should that be an impediment? Do you think overall this person could do a better job than the one who's in their? I mean, that you do have to weigh that. Let me just flat out say that Mark Mantovani would do a better job than Sam Page. That's my instinct too.
Yeah. Unless Mark Mantovani, who's going to be on this show tomorrow, 24 hours from right now.
Yeah.
Unless he gets up there and says, no, I think Sam Page is doing great. I'm going to do what he's doing just better, which is
I don't
not
see him
the
doing
case.
that.
There's a reason he's challenging Sam Page.
Sure.
He's not going to do that. So we're going to find out in more depth, where his policies are. And obviously we are going to start, and I suspect his campaign folks and communication folks are listening. First of all, guys, looking forward to it. Secondly, understand I'm asking about the shutdown issue.
Yeah.
And where he believes
critical.
the role of government should be on this. This is crucial to me. All right. But that's the question is, should Republicans balk at this, or should Republicans say, listen, we don't have anybody that's going to challenge Sam Page. We have a chance now. Okay. Who we got first?
Yeah, we got listener Rex.
Rex. Hey, Rex, you are on News Talk STL. All right. What do you think? I'm open-minded. Convince me.
I don't need to convince you. Mark Mantovani would be an excellent county executive. I had him for a business law class in school. He is a very astute businessman. He knows it, and he would be good for business for St. Louis County, for business development, and he would be considerate of business owners. These lockdowns are crazy, and if the people of St. Louis County want more of what they currently have, then they need to vote for Sam Page. But when they do, don't complain about the outcome that you get.
I think that's fair.
What you sow, so shall you reap.
Rex, I think that's fair. I mean, it is. And even people who are skeptical, I think, should agree with what you just said. It's just a question of whether they're buying in at all. But I think that's a very fair point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's a very good, Mike. He's an excellent businessman in St. Louis County, just like St. Louis City. We need people like that to improve the quality of life here.
Okay.
And Rex, he doesn't have the baggage that Sam has, does he?
No, not at all.
Where are you calling from?
And I'm looking St. Louis. On my way to the gym this morning, and I'm looking forward to hearing him on your interview tomorrow on your show. I'll be tuned in for that.
Great. Thanks, Rex. Appreciate it.
Take care. You all enjoy your day.
You got it. Okay. So the business aspect of this, absolutely crucial. It's going to be very interesting to see if the business community gets behind Mark Mantovani.
Yeah. And you mentioned Ben Brown earlier. Ben, he may be a resident of Franklin County, but his business is located in St. Louis County, which is why he was at the forefront of a lot of those COVID just battles that were going on involving Sam Page. So he'd be somebody who'd be interesting to see, from a business perspective, is this somebody that you can get behind?
Right. Yeah. And I think, again, if you're a business owner and you take out the partisan politics of it, if you take out all of that sort of ideology, you're saying, I'm a business owner. What's good for my Sam Page is not good for your business.
Right.
No. And if you're a business owner and you have to vote for Mantovani only for the fact that he won't shut your business down if something happens again, pandemic wise. I mean,
let's hope.
Well, you hope.
Yeah,
because that's what he's running on at least, right? That's what I'm assuming.
We're going to find out tomorrow because I don't know if he's got a website up or anything, but yeah, that to me is the key issue.
Yeah. And then we got Robin on the line here.
Robin?
Uh-huh.
Oh, hey, Robin, you're on News Talk STL.
Hi, Mike. I'm very happy today. I was doom and gloom before, but I'm very happy about this. And that gentleman that just called makes it even better that, knowing him and being a good businessman. And I know he's got a lot of money. So I think we can really do this. And back in 2020, I did vote for him. I pulled in the primary, I pulled a Democrat ticket so that I could vote for him against Sam Page. So I think this is gonna work. I think we have a chance.
Well, there's definitely a chance.
Yeah.
I completely agree, Robin.
There's a much better chance now than there was.
Much better.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
So, Robin,
for
you're
sure.
saying there's a chance.
Yeah, yeah. And what the hell do you have to lose?
That's
okay?
exactly right.
There you go. Hey, Robin, thanks for being on News Talk
Thank you.
STL. All right, 314-912-1019. I know there are people who see it differently, and I want to hear your perspective as well, because, I mean, there are good points that can be made all over the place on this. I don't think, Susie, this is one of those things where there's only two viewpoints.
No, I think you're right.
All right, so 314-912-1019. Do you get on board with Mark Mantovani as the Republican nominee, or do you say, no, he's not Republican or conservative enough, and Republicans should be the nominee? I think it's I think we have to look at a variety of things on this. So let's talk about it. 314-912-1019. This is 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Very busy again this morning. Southbound 170 at Page, we've got a crash. 2 left lanes closed. Slow traffic back to the Rock Road. 70 eastbound at TR Hughes. No word on exactly which lane is closed, but we do have a crash, and you can see traffic is backed up to Route K. North 55 backed up Bayless to Gasconade. The ramp from 255 northbound to 5570 east is closed for repair work. That's going to cause a slowdown. You'll have to use an alternate route. And we've got an incident on the ramp from 270 westbound to West Florissant that was already slowed due to the construction work. This report sponsored by InvisibleFence.com, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Invisible Fence Brand's mission is to keep pets happy and safe. Their containment systems are the most advanced on the market, giving your pet freedom and you confidence in their safety. For a limited time, get $150 off your system. Schedule your consultation at InvisibleFence.com.
Mike Ferguson here. Retirement should be a time you can relax. No more stress from work. But there's one thing you can't forget about when retiring. That's your money. Do you have enough saved to fund your income for life and keep up with inflation? How will you claim your Social Security benefits? And what about long-term care? The ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel is here to help answer all of these questions. You can hear their latest views on the markets and investing during On the Money, hosted by Stifel financial advisors Bob Stockdale and Eric Robert, every Saturday morning at 9, right here on News Talk STL. They can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call 636-695-2650, 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Everyone who was saying that there is collusion, to use the favorite word of the media and the left, between big tech and big government, is 1000% correct. It's not misinformation. They were suppressing and censoring it because they said, we have no way of authenticating whether this is Hunter Biden's laptop. I mean, the New York Post should be suing everybody right now, as far as I'm concerned.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 3:30 on News Talk STL.
Vision Marketing and Promo is your one-stop image shop. Signs, banners, embroidery, print services, apparel, promotional products, and more. Just 2 blocks from 370 and Elm Street, Vision Marketing and Promo is fast and convenient, and our experts can help guide you through. Vision even offers customized graphic design to bring your ideas to life. Call today at 636-400-1500 or come see us at 3734 Elm Street in St. Charles. Vision Marketing and Promotions. Success starts with vision.
Fox News commentary.
Kamala has declared the border is secure, so either you believe her or your lying eyes. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is building Do Good Village in Land O'Lakes, Florida. It's a first-of-its-kind community with over 100 homes for program recipients, a place where Gold Star families, families of fallen first responders, and catastrophically injured heroes can live together with neighbors who understand, a place where the children of these families will grow up together. Help America's greatest heroes and their families to heal together. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
Let's try to convince us of a lot of BS lies, but this latest lie from Kamala Harris might be her best one yet. During an interview with Meet the Press, she told anchor Chuck Todd the border is secure. She then, in the same sentence, contradicted herself by saying the immigration system is indeed broken, but that it's Trump's fault. Even NBC's Chuck Todd had to push back on that nonsense, to which Kamala doubled down saying this mumbo jumbo, and I quote, "We have a secure border in that is a priority for any nation, including ours and our administration." Need I remind all of you, Kamala is supposedly our border czar and has yet to visit the actual southern border as borders are. Perhaps that's why she thinks it's secure. That or she's just flat out lying. The population equivalent of Ireland has invaded our southern border since Joe Biden took office, but according to Democrats, somehow that's secure. Well, you know what they say, Democrats gonna Democrat. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can listen to all of my hot takes at foxnewscommentary.com.
Free speech is alive and well in America.
Thanks for taking my call.
Right here.
My point about the governor there, it's absolutely about power. I read this, I almost fell out of my chair.
News Talk STL.
This thing is just absolutely dripping with iron.
News, analysis, opinion. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com.
All right, this Mantovani versus Sam Page race. I know there are some Republicans who are not happy that this is the Republican nominee. And I think there are a lot of Republicans who are very happy that this is the nominee, not even so much just because Mark Mantovani can beat Sam Page. It's not even so much about that. I think it's about because Sam Page can be beaten.
Yeah.
That's the glimmer of hope here for a lot of people.
Yeah, we just had listener Chris call it, and he said, I'm ultra conservative, and I think it's a great idea that Mantovani's running.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Very good.
Do you agree or do you disagree? 314-912-1019. Let's get your thought. Listen, so far the calls have been very positive and very much in favor of this, but I know people have different perspectives. Sure. I really want to hear those as well. Guys, hang on a second. We got a special announcement here. Hang on just a second here. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
This is the United States Camaro, for God's sake.
The United States of Gomorrah?
Khmer. Like Khmer Rouge?
Oh, yeah.
Khmer, help me with my tie.
Khmer car.
For God's sakes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. President. All right. I just want to work that in there.
Love
just
him. Hey, I stumble over my words sometimes too.
Sometimes.
Maybe not as often as Joe.
Occasionally, sometimes, everybody does. I've done that, and I've been on the radio for, over 2.5 decades.
It's inevitable.
He does it a little more.
He excels at it.
Yes. I mean, I guess if you're going to do it right. Do it well. Do it consistently.
Yeah.
God. Okay. Anyway.
For God's sakes.
No, I really mean it.
No joke.
End of statement. Joke. Period.
End of quote.
End of quote.
End of quote. Repeat. Repeat the line.
Repeat line. Oh, man.
Now you're making me have to dive through this stuff.
Okay, so back to the St. Louis County Executives race, because
End of quote. Repeat the line.
That's what the teleprompter said to do. What's even worse is if you see the video on some of these where he just aimlessly walks around.
Mm-hmm.
it's like he doesn't know what to do. I mean, it's one thing I've seen plenty. I mean, even the person who is most in control of them, I'm sure there are times that, Ron DeSantis or Donald Trump or Kristi Noem or somebody, Ted Cruz, and they'll say, hey guys, where am I supposed to go? Okay, great. That's one thing, which says I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to go where I'm supposed to go, but just tell me where I'm supposed to be here. What's the plan versus where am I?
I forgot.
What's going on?
Guys, and we can't use it for radio. That's why I didn't even cut it, because it was video. But last night I saw the latest clip of him talking. He was finishing up his speech, and he looked to the left, looked to the right, did not know where to go, and then called for someone to come up and fetch him. Then, even when they said the direction you need to go, he turned the other way.
No, the other way.
This went on for about a minute and a half, and finally he just went off stage. And
Okay.
I mean, this is not normal, Mike. When you said, before you go on, people tell you where to go.
Right.
He can't remember that far in advance.
I do. I mean, I've done many, many events over the course of any of us who are in media.
Sure.
We've all done these events,
Yeah.
and I'm one of those that says, okay, give me the itinerary. Okay, so where am I going to be? I'm going to do this. How long do I have? And then where do you want me to go after that? Okay. And that's fine. You see it all the time. You'll see somebody go, okay, hey, which way? That way? Okay, great. All right, I'll go over here and do what I'm supposed to do. That's not what we see.
No, it's different from that. And it's weird because then there's the ones, the situations where he's got everything spelled out on note cards. You sit here, you sit then, which seems like overkill. But the bottom line is he gives the appearance of somebody who isn't in charge.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the leader of the free world, and he's not in charge. And that's the unsettling thing about it.
Yeah. So sleep tight, everybody.
Yeah.
Sleep tight.
The nuclear football is near him at all times. Sleep tight.
His speech in red that we saw recently, when you saw him walk up with Jill Biden, usually you'll see the first lady walk up with the president, and he's kind of having her. He's holding her, and then he says bye, and then she leaves. He gets her kiss. This was more awkward than that. It was almost like she was holding him up to the podium. Then she kind of said something to him like, here, you do this, and I'm going to leave. And that's the difference.
Like dropping somebody off at senior daycare.
Somebody off.
You ever like one of those senior citizen daycare things? I mean, it's like babysitting for grandpa.
Yeah.
Okay, you sit here with the nice man. His name's Vladimir.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got to get to an information segment.
Not reassuring.
In just a few minutes here. I am now hopeful that Sam Page can be beaten. It just strikes me that I may not agree with Mark Mantovani on everything, and I suspect that that's the case, and that's fine. I mean, he was a Democrat for maybe still is, I don't know, and I'm not. So he's not a conservatarian like I am. That's fine. I've actually never met him. I hope to. Strikes me as a guy you could sit down and work with. This changes the dynamics. Think about this. Think about, your extremists on the St. Louis County Council. For instance, Lisa Clancy.
Right.
This is an absolute left-wing extremist. And if all of a sudden she has to deal with a rational person, things get refocused onto what matters instead of the fringe having a free reign to just abuse their position.
You know what else it does? It forces Sam Page to have to answer to his moderate base. He hasn't had to. If he wasn't going to face a true competitor, he could just go along with the progressive left wing of the party.
Right.
He can't afford to do that because he could lose those votes.
Okay, so you just used an interesting term, moderate base. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when you've got a county like St. Louis County, which is roughly 55-45 blue to red.
Yeah.
You do not have 55 extreme left-wing fringe
No.
and 45 extreme right-wing fringe.
No.
You don't have that. You've got more people in the middle, probably more so than you're going to see in outstate Missouri and more rural areas. Yep. St. Charles County, probably. Even, if you look in Southern Illinois, that's going to be very, very red.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of people who are in that moderate who are frankly not represented, not listened to. Rex called a little bit ago and he said the business community has a big opportunity to get on board with somebody, because Mark Mantovani is a very successful businessman.
Right.
He's an attorney, and then he was the very executive level. I forgot what the actual term is with a marketing company. So the guy knows how to do business.
Sure.
Now you can be a good business person and not be the person I'm going to choose for a political office, but you look at the big picture, you look at all the moving pieces right here. Why is there even such a fight over Sam Page? Because of what he did to business, because of what he did to schools, because of what he did to individuals, because of what he did to churches, because of the way, in my opinion, he just authoritarian-like attacked people's fundamental freedoms. And that had a very real impact on jobs, had a very real impact on our First Amendment rights, had a very real impact on education, had a very real impact on distrust in government. Because you saw the first time there was a stay-at-home order, a lockdown order. The first time it happened, there was a very mixed grumbling and even people going, okay, well, I get it, because we were so afraid we didn't know what we were dealing with. Turns out we should not have done that at all. But then after that, you saw more people saying, no, I'm not doing. And then Sam Page loses lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. He got a win here and there.
Yeah,
but overall, he got whooped in the courts because the Missouri legislature passed laws specifically to deal with his abuse of his power.
Yeah.
So with Mark Mantovani, I'm sure there are Republicans who say, I want a Republican. I want a lifelong Republican. I want a conservative. I want Ted Cruz. I want somebody like that. We had people call in saying, hey, Jim Talent lives in the county. Yeah.
He does.
Jim's kind of busy in Washington, D.C., giving advice to national leaders over national security issues. But this is now gone from a throwaway race to a competitive race, and probably really helps Dennis Hancock in that 3rd district.
That's true.
Hold the line.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of nuance here. Mark Mantovani is going to be on this show 7:05 tomorrow, right here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. If you find yourself feeling out of place in the world, it's comforting to know conservative values haven't been abandoned everywhere.
Thanks for being my voice in all this.
This is News Talk STL.
There are people out there that feel the way that I feel and say what I say.
Welcome home.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasovich. Senator Bill Eigel wrote in a Facebook post Saturday night that he is forming a campaign committee to consider running for the governor of Missouri. Current Governor Mike Parson is term limited and cannot seek another term. Delwood's mayor and board of aldermen have agreed to allocate ARPA funds to buy residents' steering wheel clubs. To sign up to receive a lock, residents have to visit the Delwood City Hall with a copy of their ID, which must have a Delwood address on it. Stiefel Theater announced that the live versions of the popular children's shows Coco Melon and Paw Patrol are coming to St. Louis, and general tickets go on sale this Friday. Coco Melon is scheduled for November 15th, and Paw Patrol is on May 6th and 7th. For the next 3 Wednesdays in September, the Missouri Botanical Gardens will be extending their hours to 7:30 p.m. The Sunset Strolls will offer visitors a chance to see different fall blooms, including goldenrods, blazing star, and black-eyed Susans. Twilight Thursdays, the Missouri History Museum's free outdoor concert series returns to Forest Park this week. The concert on September 15th will feature the Aretha Franklin catalog from 6 to 8 p.m. History Museum galleries will be open late, and food trucks will also be on hand. And in sports, the St. Louis City SC soccer team's City Goods store opens for business today. The store will be open 7 days a week and is located in the southwest corner of Centene Stadium at Market and 21st Street. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to newstalkstl.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
On 270 northbound, watch out for a stalled vehicle in the right lane north of Big Bend. That traffic backing up towards I-44, and it'll join the jam that was coming up between 55 and Gravois anyway. 55 north, it's Bayless to Gasconade. Add 10 minutes this morning. They're clearing a crash 170 southbound at Page. 2 left lanes closed. Traffic back to the Rock Road. 70 eastbound at T.R. Hughes, one on the right side, but it is affecting traffic back to Bryan Road. This report sponsored by Dell Technologies. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Dell Traffic Center.
Dell Technologies semi-annual sale has arrived, and it's time to save big on PCs with Windows 11 Pro. Plus, get great deals on top accessories, including docks, monitors, and more. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
From the Newstalk STL Weather Center.
Another cool, dry morning under clear skies. Really comfortable out there with low humidity and temperatures in the 50s. A warm day under sunny skies, the high 82 degrees, but the humidity's down. Lots of sunshine today, and clear skies continue tonight. It's going to be a beautiful night at the ballpark for the Cardinals and the Brewers. Overnight lows in the upper 50s tonight and a high tomorrow in the mid 80s, remaining sunny with that low humidity. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The Range St. Louis West is Missouri's best indoor shooting range. With 20 climate-controlled lanes, over 70 firearms available to rent, and the best staff in the business, you're guaranteed to enjoy every minute of your time with us. Our impressive showroom is full of the latest and greatest offerings from the best manufacturers in the business. Need an optic, spare magazines, holster, or any other accessory? Let our professional staff help you find exactly what you need and get it installed for you. Mention you heard us on Newstalk STL and save $100 on your membership and enjoy even more goodies. The Range St. Louis West. Are you ready?
If you are on Medicare, you need to listen to this message. Open enrollment for all Medicare participants starts October 15th. This is a very critical time of the year for you to make needed changes to your plan.
This is Mike Butts with MB Health Insurance Agency. Regardless if you are new or renewing your health insurance, the process can be confusing and very time-consuming. MB Health is local here in St. Louis, and we will handle your enrollment quickly, properly, and effectively. Find us on the web at mbhealth.com.
MB Health can also help small businesses find the perfect medical coverage for their employees. That's mbhealth.com.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
I don't believe the Democrats are stupid, but I think they don't care.
Live and local.
And embarrassed himself at that press conference.
He's become kind of clownish, right?
Do you think he's going to run?
This is News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
Hey, it's Joe Pags. Catch me tonight at 7 o'clock. But right now, back to more of Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Hey, we have good news.
What's that?
The president's going to remind us today that the economy's doing great.
Oh.
Yeah, I understand that.
Look at these skeptical looks on your faces.
I know.
What the heck, guys?
Kamala Harris is changing the definition of the word secure for our border.
Oh, yes. Our border is air quotes secure.
Yeah, that's like my windows are open. My front door is open. My garage is open. People are running through my house, stealing my stuff. Well, that's how we define secure now.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how we define, locked.
Sure.
In the house. Jeez. It is 7:38. I'm Mike Ferguson. Susie Moore is in for Gabe Pfeiffer, who is on secret assignment today. He is sciencing rockets today. And Ken Williams is
sciencing
here.
the hell out of them, too.
He is sciencing like crazy, man. He is out doing that. Okay, so some are concerned. I'm reading the news copy here. Some are concerned that some of President Biden's plans will only create more inflation rather than decrease it. That is brilliant news copy. Thank you so much, Fox News.
Some say.
We've been saying that, some say, for about the last 14 months, but,
I guess I'm some.
Yeah.
Fox News' Kevin Cork has the update.
To hear the White House tell it, the president has taken America from an economic crisis to economic resurgence. And that's precisely the message he'll float at an event at the White House later today at 3 p.m. to hype the Inflation Reduction Act. But for all the backslapping, analysts adroitly point out that the Biden student loan giveaway will eat up any progress made on inflation. Quote, the student debt cancellation and relief measures recently announced by the Biden administration will cost roughly $500 billion over 10 years. Under our estimates, wiping out the $238 billion of 10-year deficit reduction from the IRA more than 2 times over.
Okay. But elections.
Hey, the inflation numbers just came out for August, 8.3%, which is still very high. But it's going to be spun because it's not 9.1%.
Right. It's not 9.1.
Decrease.
What was it? Was it 8.5 last month, or was it the full
9? No, it was 8.3. I thought
it was 9.6 and then 9.1.
Yeah.
Oh,
so, but remember, but like Susie's saying, 8.3% year over year inflation is really bad.
It's really bad, but relative to what it was before, they're going to champion that as a victory.
It's
moving in the right direction.
Well, yeah, but it's moving. It's like you raise gas price to $4.90 a gallon from $1.81, and then you bring it down to $3.85,
right?
And you've got a cheap gas price somehow.
I'm going to be a Democrat for a second. Hey, Ken, $3.79.
Oh,
you're not giving the president credit.
That's a
Stop
lot
with that hyperbole,
right? Yeah. Oh my goodness. But that's the difference between they were hitting me with a sledgehammer. Now they're only hitting me with a baseball bat. Things are getting better.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ron DeSantis has given a speech last night, and he brings up this student loan, forgiveness plan that Kevin Corke was just mentioning in that Fox News report. And here's how he kind of assessed it as well.
And, Biden has this proposal, which is not constitutional because he's unilaterally putting almost $1 trillion of liability on taxpayers without congressional authorization. But if you think about it, there's no reform to higher education at all offered this. It's just basically like, hey, if you have debt, taxpayer will pick it up. I think it's $6,000 per taxpayer is what the liability would be. Those who work to pay their loans off, well, you're not going to get a mulligan on that. You're just going to have done it. So the colleges, they raise tuition. They have the loans that people can take out more and more. And if you're producing students going $100,000 plus in debt and they can't find gainful employment to be able to pay those debts off, then you are doing something wrong and you should be held accountable.
Okay, so DeSantis brings up a really interesting point, because to me, at first I thought this was just a one-tiered debate, Susie.
Okay.
Forgiving student loan unilaterally, good, bad. Okay, well, that's just one tier of it. Because what's happening here is that without requiring colleges and universities to get their act together, and my wife is a university professor, and she's been telling me for years, there's a day of reckoning coming.
Yeah.
We can wait for the free market to do it, or it can be done, otherwise. But DeSantis is pointing out that what's happening is if the federal government basically is saying, hey, we're moving to single payer education, we're just going to take care of it, you're incentivizing them to make it more wasteful and expensive.
Right. You're expanding the academic bubble.
Right. I mean, if I went to you guys and there was the University of Susie Moore and the University of Ken Williams, and you're enrolling students, and I'm the benevolent government, and I say, listen, what you guys do is so important. I mean, I'm going to guarantee that anybody can get the product and the service that you sell. You go ahead and educate them in, as Ron DeSantis later said in the speech, a degree in zombie studies or whatever, underwater fire prevention or whatever. You do that, and I'll just take care of the bill, and I'll deal with them later.
Then I would get together with Susie and say, hey, Susie, let's say we jack the price up a little
Why
bit
not?
higher. But we both have to do it, though.
Well,
why
sure.
wouldn't you do it?
Right.
Yeah.
And why would it matter if somebody else came in and said, well, I'm going to do a cheaper price, because it doesn't matter to the student, doesn't matter to the consumer.
No.
So why wouldn't you do that? So DeSantis hits on something crucial, because I had a conversation with a friend at lunch yesterday, and he and his wife are closer to paying off their student loans, and he goes, I think, I wish Republicans would rethink this, because this is really going to help us. I'm like, I get it, but you're putting the bill on everybody else. I mean, it's going to help my household with my daughter's student loan.
I have 2 daughters in college.
I have a daughter in college.
Yeah, it is an immediate level. If it happens, it is going to help me. That doesn't mean we should do it.
No, it doesn't.
Bigger picture.
Right. All right. 314-912-1019. Who we got here, Ken?
We got listener Mark.
Mark. Hey, Mark, you are on News Talk STL.
Hey, guys, got a quick question for y'all.
Yeah.
With gas prices not quite as high as they were,
Mhm.
and inflation not quite as high as it was,
Mhm.
how long before the Biden administration starts saying, hey, our policies work? We told you it was going to take time.
They're doing it now.
30 seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's coming later today.
about a minute.
They're doing it now, Mark.
Yeah, about a minute and a half ago. Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's amazing how this stuff happens always, 8 to 6 or 8 weeks before an election. It's just amazing.
Well, it is, but see, you're bringing up a great point, Mark, because what's happening is they're saying, look at this compared to, 3 months ago, 6 months ago at the previous height of all the problems that they caused, but don't look at this compared to 2 years ago or 3 years ago. They just want a very, very narrow look and like basically arguing, look, we're not screwing up as bad. We should be rewarded, is what they're arguing.
Exactly. And I think the sheeple and the lemmings will just go right off the cliff, too.
And then you go around, Mark, and you tell people like we do, remind them of what happened, what has been happening now compared to 2 years ago.
Right.
Yep.
Mark,
well, that's all I got, guys.
Hey,
Thanks,
Mark,
Mark.
appreciate you being a part of News Talk STL. All right, 314-912-1019. Got some thoughts on this? Let's talk. By the way, 805. I'm looking forward to this. There is an organization that works specifically to help our warriors who are trying to transition back into civilian life deal with PTSD. I chatted with this guy before. He's the president of this foundation, and my eyes were opened to just how big this issue is. And I think you're going to come away saying, ooh, there is something we can do for these guys and gals. We'll do that conversation at 8:05 right here, 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
It's a far cry.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
On 270 northbound, they're clearing an accident north of Big Bend. The right lane was closed. That was backed up onto 55. Now we've got a crash northbound on 55 before Butler Hill. Fire and EMS responding. Looks like the right shoulder for now, but they'll probably end up taking the right lane. 170 southbound, delays from the Rock Road to Page. They're clearing a crash from the two left lanes. We have one that's partly blocking the ramp from 270 on to eastbound 64 and slowing traffic as well. This report sponsored by Ride Finders, and I'm Joe Sonderman. That is the very latest from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Ride Finders is the St. Louis area's free carpool and vanpool ride matching program. By sharing the ride to work, you can save thousands of dollars per year and take thousands of cars off the roads. Do the ride thing. Visit ridefinders.org for details.
The Vic Borselli Show.
Tuesday is going to be the Bonchi and Branco Show. A.F. Branco, great editorial cartoonist at 1041. And Bonchi from Red State will join us right off the bat at 9:05.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
This is Pocket Watching with JT, the call-in financial talk show focused on helping you get your money right. Jason Thornton is a certified financial planner, licensed in both tax and investments. Now, this is not personal financial advice. This is JT's real reaction to all your money and business questions. Are you deep in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and looking for a way out? Call Pocket Watching with JT, the financial advisor for the people.
Friday night at 8 on News Talk STL.
I'm Missouri's Secretary of State, Jay Ashcroft. Voting is a right and a responsibility. You can always vote a provisional ballot on Election Day, but using a photo ID is the best way to vote. A valid Missouri driver's license, for example. If you need an ID, my office can help you get one for free. Either way, your vote counts. Check out sos.mo.gov or call my office. And remember, in Missouri, if you're registered, you can vote.
Sponsored by Missouri Secretary of State.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-281-4224. 800-281-4224. 800-281-4224. That's 800-281-4224.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent extremism.
The soul of America.
News, analysis, opinion.
Is not the ruling class in Washington.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. On News Talk STL.
We haven't mentioned our expanded social media presence, I think, today yet. This show now has a YouTube channel.
Yay.
Mike Ferguson in the morning has a YouTube
I've
channel.
watched it.
Yes, so because a lot of people, what we're finding is a lot of people are taking either our Rumble stream or now you can do YouTube and just put it on your your Roku TV, your smart TV.
Yeah.
Just put the app on your TV, which is what I do.
Mhm.
And I've got to buy another TV now because my TV in my office went out at the house. So where can I get the best deal on a TV?
Probably Best Buy or
Probably Best
online.
Buy.
Yeah,
That's where I'm going to go.
But about the YouTube thing,
yeah.
we had News Talk STL had its own channel. We got thrown off of YouTube permanently, they said.
Yep.
So what we did is we devised a little plan to have each show with their own YouTube channel. And so far, it's been okay.
Right.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah, and by the way, I did notice that Rumble has up over 15,000 followers.
Yes.
Yes.
I am
that's
telling you.
awesome.
Rumble, yes. You remember how excited we were when we had 2,000 subscribers and we went on the air and we were like, there's 2,000 people subscribing to it. And I tell you, Rumble is the perfect fit for News Talk STL. I mean, I'm happy because YouTube reaches so many people. So here's what I'm asking you to do. One, if you've got the YouTube app or you've got the Rumble app on your TV, put us in there, so you can go back to us. And a lot of people, watch us in the mornings when they're getting ready before we go to work. Yeah. And so you never know what my silly t-shirts are going to say. You never know.
It's true.
So at some point, I'm not going to have to wear the eye patch and people are going to be able to see when I can, do that. And
they're going to quit calling you Snake Plissken.
That, oh my goodness, that made the rounds. Mike, I have a cousin in Florida who commented on that. And he said, he goes, yeah, because some family had it too, but he said, I saw that on social media. And so it's kind of funny because he is actually, two of my cousins are coming up to see a Cardinals game this weekend. Yeah, they're coming up on Saturday, and I haven't seen them I know it's macabre, but I haven't seen them since my grandmother's funeral many years ago. And so I wasn't sure we would ever cross paths again because they live in other parts of the country. So it's going to be great to see them this weekend.
Great.
Your dinner, so my cousin Lindsay, my cousin Tony, my wife, me, and then we're going to go out to eat somewhere. They're going to the Cardinals game and are desperately hoping to see number 700 from Albert Pujols.
It could happen. He's within striking distance.
So with the social media, the thing is that we're fighting an ideological battle.
Yes.
Here, these are parts of the theater of the ideological battle. Rumble is absolutely perfect. So please subscribe. Mike Ferguson in the morning, Vic Porcelli show, Columbo and Katie, Jones and Arps. Please subscribe to all those and share them.
Yes.
Rumble is just News Talk STL. It's one central location. Please share it.
Yeah.
We stream on Facebook. We stream on Twitter and everything. But that's really, really crucial because that's how we amplify people's voices.
Right. And YouTube, every time you like the stream, I mean, that's a benefit.
Right.
That helps raise the profile.
And it helps, again, amplify, hopefully, your voices and the
Yes.
debates and everything that goes with that. We've got, of course, now we're going into the fall.
Sure.
Absolutely, which is my favorite time of year. My wife's. We actually got to light up the fire pit last night on the patio. It's great.
Nice. It was a beautiful evening last night.
Perfect.
Hey guys, listener Rebecca has something she wants to say.
All right, hey Rebecca, you are on News Talk STL.
Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I've been here since way on in the beginning. I am so proud of you guys.
We're proud of you.
It's just the entrepreneurial thing in me that wants you guys to succeed so much so that you can just say, see, this is the American way. Or if I just love what you guys do and say, it's kind of a combo. And I'm just praying for this country every single day.
Amen.
Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, a lot of people forget to do that. We're ready to go in the trenches and go knock doors and forget to pray.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Rebecca. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, that's a good reminder.
It is. And also the entrepreneurial effort.
Yeah.
I mean, this is wonky behind the curtain stuff. People forget how unusual this station is.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we are not part of what's called a cluster.
Mhm.
And in radio terminology, that means you've got like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 radio stations in one building. We're not corporate owned because I've worked at two of the largest radio companies in the world.
Mhm.
I've worked at 2 of them.
Sure.
And the decisions are not made in town.
No.
They're made on the East Coast somewhere. But here it's actually very locally. Matter of fact, if I say something wrong, my boss is in the next room. He can actually
Right, he can wave at you through the window.
Well, he can come in, he can throw something at me. So it's
True.
right here. It's immediate.
And at the same time, it allows us to be able to speak our mind and
Yes,
be able
sir.
to say things that, I've worked at a few different corporations
Mhm.
that ran radio, and in all 3 of those, there were times where they'd come in the studio door and they'd say, "Hey, listen, next time you talk about that, why don't you kind of skew it this way a little bit? Or we don't want you talking about that. How about that?"
You see, and I'm going to tread lightly here because we've all got good friends that are still in that situation.
Sure.
Yeah.
There are people say, no, that's they don't tell us what to say here. Well, no,
They
that's
do.
what they're trying to do.
It's the corporate way.
Yeah.
How those things work.
Our orders are basically don't lie.
Yeah.
Make sure
don't
you're
screw
saying
up.
what you're saying is accurate. Don't get us, obviously, in trouble with the FCC or something.
And
But,
don't say any deadly bad words.
Don't say yes, precisely. All right, so just ahead here, and this is fascinating because we're obviously very, very dedicated to supporting our military personnel, our first responders, and I came across an organization called the PTSD Foundation. Now, if you're a family that doesn't have somebody who is connected to the military, you still want to listen to this because anybody who says, I support the troops or I support our first responders, this is a very, very tangible, non-governmental way that you can help those who have served. And we're going to talk to the president of this foundation because I was chatting with him, a week or 2 ago. And he was explaining things to me about what they do in ways I had not heard before. I mean, it's we know what PTSD is. We know, I think, how widespread, a unique program. But the way he explained it to me made me, after all these years, do a double take and say, oh, I didn't think of it that way. So that's, I think, what we're about to hear here at 8:05 on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alan Link. Your smile is your number 1 asset.
I was in a car accident. My front tooth cracked. It definitely embarrassed to smile. I got mini dental implants. It changed my life.
If you are missing 1 or more teeth or suffer from loose dentures, mini dental implants might be the solution for you. I have placed mini implants with amazing results. Mini dental implants are less invasive, less painful, and your recovery time is much shorter. Let me give you your self-confidence back and give you the ability to eat the foods that you love to eat, but that you simply can't at this point. Plus, best of all, the cost to you is much less than with older, more traditional dental implants.
It made me feel like me. Like I can smile and feel like Ashley. Just want to say thank you.
We are here to help you at the Dental Link.
Call Dr. Alan Link today at 314-794-6464 to schedule your free consultation. Offices in Baldwin and Melville. That's the Dental Link at 314-794-6464.
The Cardinals celebrate the newest pro sports team in town, STL City SC. On Saturday, September 17th, the Cardinals host the Reds. And that night, 25,000 fans, 16 and older, will take home a Cardinals soccer jersey presented by Wells Fargo Advisors. St. Louis is officially a soccer and baseball town. That's Saturday, September 17th. For tickets and more info, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
Yachty, Albert, and Waino. All season long, we've been celebrating these iconic Cardinals legends. The Legends Bobblehead Series begins on Sunday, September 18th. That day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home an Albert Pujols bobblehead. Salute Albert's return to St. Louis with this unique bobble that connects with separate Yachty and Waino bobbles given out during the final regular season weekend. For tickets, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at
NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. A sharper than expected increase in consumer prices last month. The Consumer Price Index rose 8.3% year over year, while economists had been expecting an 8% rise in prices in August. The disappointing report took the wind out of Wall Street sales in a hurry. Futures, which were sharply higher, tanked as soon as those numbers came out. Ukrainian troops continue turning up the heat on retreating Russian forces, looking to build on their sudden momentum that has produced some major territorial gains.
In a nightly address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said, "From the beginning of September until today, our soldiers have already liberated more than 6,000 square kilometers, that's nearly 4,000 miles, of the territory of Ukraine in the east and south. However, many of the claims of military success have not been independently verified. Rubbing salt into Russia's wounds, British intelligence says that one of Moscow's premier forces, the 1st Guards Tank Army, had been severely degraded." I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Queen Elizabeth's coffin is to be flown to London in the coming hours as the British people and many around the world mourn her passing. Long lines formed overnight outside St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh, Scotland. Mourners waiting to pay their respects.
She was a wonderful ambassador for our country. She was such an example to every single one of us.
I grew up a South African and I was able to come over here and start a new life. And that was a great thing. So I felt close to the Queen because of that.
And King Charles in Belfast now, the latest stop in his tour of the nations that make up the United Kingdom. Wall Street Dow futures down 405 points. NASDAQ futures off 288. Townhall.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-940-6161. That's 1-800-940-6161. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-940-6161. SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercial.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
They're working to clear a crash in the two right lanes northbound on 55 south of Butler Hill. That traffic is bumper to bumper back to Merrimack Bottom. Then you are slow again, Bayless up through Gasconade. 44 east is heavy, Miraz most of the way through Big Bend. 270 north, 55 almost to Doherty Ferry, bumper to bumper. That's due to an earlier stalled vehicle. They just about have that cleared. 270 south is very heavy, coming down between Page and I-64 due to an earlier crash. And we've got slow traffic 64 eastbound between Lindbergh and Big Bend. 5570 westbound backing up from 64 onto the Poplar Street Bridge. This report sponsored by Blindster. Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped right to you at prices less than the big box retailers. Blindster blinds are easy to install and they're guaranteed to fit. Don't overpay for new blinds. Shop today and save big at Blindster.com. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Another cool, dry morning under clear skies. Really comfortable out there with low humidity and temperatures in the 50s. A warm day under sunny skies, the high 82 degrees, but the humidity's down. Lots of sunshine today, and clear skies continue tonight. It's going to be a beautiful night at the ballpark for the Cardinals and the Brewers. Overnight lows in the upper 50s tonight and a high tomorrow in the mid-80s, remaining sunny with that low humidity. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by All Solutions Pest Control, 636-486-7888, or visit them at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Americans are tired, frustrated by a stalling economy, inflation, and disintegration of trusted institutions. Millions of Americans are waking up to a country they don't recognize. And while they struggle to raise their families and pay their bills, the media and corporations are telling them they're what's wrong with the country. Thankfully, there are some companies that still believe in America. And when we stick together, greatness follows. Patriot Mobile, America's only Christian conservative cell company, is on the front lines, fighting for the sanctity of life, religious freedom, and the Second Amendment. They have broad nationwide coverage through multiple major networks, giving you crystal clear coverage, minus the woke propaganda supported by the major carriers. Go to patriotmobile.com or call 972-PATRIOT. They have plans for any budget, and their U.S.-based customer service team is ready to help. Veterans and first responders save even more, so make the switch today. Use the offer code RADIO and get free activation. That's patriotmobile.com, patriotmobile.com, or call 972-PATRIOT.
Welcome home to St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Distrust of the federal government is an all-time high.
Executing a search warrant on a former president has never been done before.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
Just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I love Jesus. He was my superhero.
Get up, in case you hear the alarm.
Twitter is like being able to read every toilet wall in the world.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin God.
It's not unusual to hear somebody tell someone who wears a military uniform, thank you for your service, or if they have one of the hats on and they have served before, whether it was Vietnam or Korea or the very few World War II veterans left, thank you for your service. But for a lot of people, they think that's the end of it. Whereas when military personnel come back, either to the United States after being overseas or having served maybe as a first responder in the United States, many of them have trouble transitioning back to a normal life. And among those concerns is PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Well, there is an organization focused entirely on helping military personnel, their families, first responders deal with that. And those services are available in your community. They're here to help. And they are called the PTSD Foundation of America. And their executive director, David Malsby, joins me right now. David, thanks for being on the program here. I just mentioned, and I saw this, that you've written about this as well, trouble transitioning sometimes for military personnel in particular back to the United States, especially after having been in violent situations. A lot of people would say, why? These are our warriors. These are the strongest of the strong in the United States. Why would they have trouble with that?
Well, it's obvious that there is a tremendous issue going on in our country, but it's not new. Our Vietnam veterans had the same issue. There was a large segment, actually, the Second World War veterans. It just never got spoken about. We saw a little bit more of it with the Vietnam community. Of course, we all know the stories about those guys coming home and the troubles that they faced. But it's true, certainly in the post 9/11 era, just the great disconnect. Even though the civilian world feels like they love and support the troops, many times that, hey, thank you for your service comes across quite shallow for these guys who've done some things that they feel like, man, if you knew what I had to do, if you saw what I had to see, you probably wouldn't be saying that. They feel, an awful lot of shame sometimes, some false guilt that we call it. And we have to help them understand what it is and that the community does care. But it's a hard hurdle for them to overcome many, many times, and it leads to some pretty staggering statistics in our veteran community.
I want to get to what you all do here in just a couple of minutes, David, but I also noticed that you've included their families involved with that. Why is that important?
Well, it's key to our long-term success. Let's just say, Johnny comes home, he's got both of his arms and legs and everything looks good. And he seems, at appearance, he seems like he was when he left, but he starts to self-medicate. He's super hyper anxious. The temper flares much quicker than it used to. The drinking's much worse than it used to be. Things are just continually getting worse. Families many times will be enablers to continued bad choices. We have to help the family, first of all, understand what happened to their loved one while they're in war and how the brain basically rewired to handle that, but it has not rewired back to the civilian world. So we have to help them understand, first of all, what happened. Then we have to help them put in some what we call just safe, strong, loving boundaries so that they help the veteran go forward rather than just continue to make bad choices. But also, once the veteran does receive help, that community, the family, and friends need to understand how do you help keep that going for a lifetime. So it's a big and important part of what we do. It's one of the unique things about our organization that sets us apart from any other organization is the work we do with families and friends.
David, I don't think I've ever heard it put that way. We're visiting with David Malsby from the PTSD Foundation of America. You talked about the brain rewiring to deal with and handle what's happening or what has just happened. I don't think I've ever had that. I've never heard it put that way. What do you mean when you say the brain rewires to basically accommodate what they've been through or what they're going through?
Well, I'll just share it through an actual story of a veteran that came through. He was 18 when his boots hit the ground in Kuwait. Then the trip on up into Baghdad and all the trauma, all the war that they saw, the day-to-day dealing with every trash bag on the side of the road may not be trash. Every child approaching may not be an innocent child, may be strapped with a bomb. The brain has to wire itself for that kind of endeavor because we're not used to that when we live in small county Texas. So our brain has to rewire to handle that. What happens for many of these guys once they come home and they see the trash bag on the side of the road, they can't just automatically say it's trash day and everybody has the trash out. It's potentially a threat to them, to those who are with them. And that's just that hyper anxiety. And at some point, you have to find a way to calm that down. And that's where self-medicating comes in. But that's what I mean when I talk about the rewiring of the brain. It's transitioning and conditioning itself to handle war. And then it doesn't rewire itself back once it comes home.
And obviously, this doesn't affect everybody who's been in the service, but there are so many who are affected by this. So how do you help? You kind of gave the outline for the families. What are some of the services? What are some of the resources that you do offer?
So our organization is a peer-to-peer organization. So in short, it's one veteran who's come through our program, turning around and helping the next. And we run that in one-on-one individual peer-to-peer mentoring. We also do what we call warrior support groups that we run across the country. We also run them in Zoom. So you can be literally anywhere in the world and you can join one of our Zoom warrior group meetings. Then for those who need more than that weekly support group and understanding what's going on, and they're in a much greater exacerbated version of PTSD, we have a residential program. We bring veterans in from every era of war. So we have Vietnam veterans here. We have, obviously post 9/11 guys and everything in between. For every era of war, every military branch. We bring them here to Camp Hope, which is in Houston, Texas. We have about 84 guys living with us currently. The program here is about 6 months long, sometimes up to a year, depending on, could be multiple diagnosis or legal issues or health issues, other things that are going on in their life. But it's very personal, individualized. That's one reason why it can take a little longer for some, a little less time for others. But it is all day, every day. It starts at 7 o'clock in the morning and runs through 7 o'clock at night. And it's a very intensive, high accountability type of a program. While they're with us, they do have licensed professional counseling that they have each and every week as well. But the foundation of it is peer-to-peer. So it's all combat veterans living on this campus.
Is there a hesitancy among those who have been in uniform to acknowledge that they need this kind of help and actually sign up and either go to a support group or go to Camp Hope? I mean, I would imagine there's probably a lot who said, I face down, terrorists all over the world. And sometimes it can be tough to say, yeah, I need to take that step in about the next minute or so.
It's very rare that the veteran is the one that reaches out to us first. It's almost always a family member or a friend, or quite often it's also a parole officer. It's a veterans court system. It's a VA, a social worker. It's a healthcare worker inside a mental health institute. Almost never is the veteran recognized that they're the ones that have a problem. They always feel like it's the rest of the world that has a problem. So it is a major issue in trying to help these veterans understand they're not alone, they're not unique, and they're not broken. They just have been wounded, and we've got to help deal with the wound and move forward.
Okay, and what's the website or social media, and what are they going to find on that?
Website is ptsdusa.org, ptsdusa.org. They can find all of our warrior group information, all of our family group information, information about Camp Hope, which, by the way, every single thing we do is free. We'll fly them here, fly them home. Everything's free. Social media, PTSD USA on Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question on the cost. And so you're a nonprofit organization. This isn't a government organization. This is just you're taking donations, as I understand it.
The only way we operate is people like people listening to your show right now that to hear about this and truly do understand it takes more than a bumper sticker on the back of your car to support the troops. And they're willing to help us take care of these veterans.
All right, David, thanks so much for the insight, and thanks for what you're doing.
Thank you very much for the time.
We've highlighted a number of veterans organizations and organizations that support those in uniform and those who have been in uniform before, but I don't think that I've heard it put quite that way before. PTSD Foundation of America, like David just said, ptsdusa.org. Yeah, check it out. A lot of interesting resources on that website. Looks like they're doing it the right way. All right, 314-912-1019. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Don't forget to check us out on social media. Just look up News Talk STL pretty much everywhere, and you're going to find us.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin. Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
You want to give me more information?
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Northbound on 55 before Butler Hill, they're working with a crash, still blocking the right lane. Shouldn't be much longer, though, but you were backed up to about Merrimack Bottom. Then you've got more slow pockets on 55 North coming up through Weber, headed into the construction zone. 44 East is slow, 270 to Big Bend, 270 North still slow, 55 most of the way to Doherty Ferry. MoDOT's been out with a stalled vehicle blocking the right lane for quite a while. 270 westbound is jammed up Old Halls Ferry to Washington Elizabeth, headed into the work zone. Poplar Street Bridge traffic still backed backed up around the bend downtown. 64 East still slow. Clayton Warson to Big Bend. Their support sponsored by Wendy's. Try Wendy's new home-style French toast sticks today. Some folks are saying they're better than their mom's French toast. Perfectly crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, perfect in every way. Try Wendy's new home-style French toast sticks today and see if they're better than your mom's. I'm Joe Sonderman with the latest from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Since 2007, the state of Missouri and local governments have handed out almost $5 billion in tax subsidies or abatements to private developers. That money could have gone to basic services like schools and public safety. And studies show these subsidies don't produce the promised jobs and growth. If developers want to build a sports stadium or shopping mall, why should they be given our tax dollars to do it? It's time to reform economic development subsidies. The Show Me message has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Hey, Columbo here for our family dentist, Dr. Matt Boscia at New Creation Dental Care, a one-stop solution for all your family's dental needs, including braces. Dr. Boscia uses the My Forever Smile Braces system, which straightens teeth many times in less than a year for half the price of traditional braces. Traditional braces or Invisalign can cost $6,000 or more, but Dr. Boscia only charges $29.98 for My Forever Smile, and incentives and insurance can lower the price even more. Plus, New Creation offers in-office financing. Learn more at newcreationdentalcare.com.
Hey folks, here's great news for active aging seniors. The Kanega Watch, the only medical alert smartwatch with built-in fall detection. Yeah, the Kanega Watch is much different than the other guys. It's a stylish, discreet watch you can wear all the time. Get help through the watch in one of three ways. Your voice, pushing the watch's alert button, or have the fall detection connect you to a US-based 24/7 monitoring center who'll speak to you through your watch and can send help to your GPS location nationwide. And get this, it can do that even if you're not responsive. This is true 24/7 peace of mind for you and those that love you. Order your Kanega Watch with a full refund 30-day trial period. Call now, 800-413-7152. 800-413-7152. 800-413-7152. That's 800-413-7152.
Fox News commentary.
Kamala has declared the border is secure, so either you believe her or your lying eyes. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is building Do Good Village in Land O'Lakes, Florida. It's a first-of-its-kind community with over 100 homes for program recipients, a place where Gold Star families, families of fallen first responders, and catastrophically injured heroes can live together with neighbors who understand, a place where the children of these families will grow up together. Help America's greatest heroes and their families to heal together. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
Let's try to convince us of a lot of BS lies, but this latest lie from Kamala Harris might be her best one yet. During an interview with Meet the Press, she told anchor Chuck Todd the border is secure. She then, in the same sentence, contradicted herself by saying the immigration system is indeed broken, but that it's Trump's fault. Even NBC's Chuck Todd had to push back on that nonsense, to which Kamala doubled down saying this mumbo jumbo, and I quote, "We have a secure border in that is a priority for any nation, including ours and our administration." Need I remind all of you, Kamala is supposedly our border czar and has yet to visit the actual southern border as borders are. Perhaps that's why she thinks it's secure. That or she's just flat out lying. The population equivalent of Ireland has invaded our southern border since Joe Biden took office, but according to Democrats, somehow that's secure. Well, you know what they say, Democrats gonna Democrat. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can listen to all of my hot takes at foxnewscommentary.com.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the morning, The Vic Porcelli Show, Columbo and Katie, Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com.
You're going to be able to find that discussion we just had on the podcast platforms. You can find that, I'm sure, on News Talk STL later this morning. That's actually, I'm going to put that up on the American Viewpoints one as well.
Yeah.
As well. So you can do that. There's probably somebody in your life who could benefit from hearing that.
Definitely.
Check it out and send it to them.
Yeah. I'm going to be sending it to my daughter, not because she suffers from PTSD, but because her area of interest, she's studying to go into equine therapy to be helpful for people with PTSD.
I mean, that's a very specific goal.
Very. And she specifically pointed out she wanted to help people in the military with PTSD. So I'm like,
this is the way to do it.
Perfect.
And anytime we can do it in the private sector, the nonprofit sector, as opposed to the government sector, I'm all for it. And that's not just because I'm the, conservatarian small government guy and darn big government. It's not that. It's just the private sector is more nimble and it adapts so much faster.
Absolutely.
So when he was talking, about rewiring the brain because of being in life or death survival situation, I was like, I never thought of it that way because I've never been in the military.
Yeah. I learned a lesson about that not too long ago. There's a group, Heroes Care, that does a lot of like care packages for military families. And one of the things that the guy that's the leader of that was talking about is about like helping military personnel reintegrate when they come back, like learning how to drive again, because you're used to driving defensively in a totally different way in the, when you're overseas.
Because defensively sometimes meaning running them off the bridge.
Right. Exactly. You're dodging IEDs, not the slowpoke in front of you on the highway. And so there's this whole different mentality that has to be kind of relearned.
Ooh, can you connect me with them? Let's get them on. I'll get them on
100%.
the show. I'll get them on the show in the next couple months if they're willing to do it.
Yeah, no, it's a great organization.
It's 8:24. I'm Mike Ferguson. That's Susie Moore in for Gabe Pfeiffer. Susie's gonna be here the rest of the week. This is great. It's from redstate.com, and of course Ken Williams as well. We just had the latest inflation numbers come in. And so I actually just got this clip that popped up, and I'm going to confess that I know it's safe to play. Because from CNN, but I'm interested to see how they're reacting to the what they call the CPI, Consumer Price Index, which is still 8.3% higher than last year overall. Gasoline still up over 25, almost 26% over last year. Now it has been higher than that, but still.
Sure.
Food is up 11.5% almost. Housing, shelter, mortgage, rent, all that kind of stuff, over 6% increase. Here's CNN kind of reacting to it just a little bit ago.
Inside these numbers, some of the year-over-year increases here are really troubling. You've got gasoline prices up 25% year-over-year. Month to month, you've seen some improvement in gas prices, and that's really important for the overall number, but still those numbers are really high. Food, this category making some history here, the largest 12-month increase since 1979, going back to the bad old days where Paul Volcker, then the Fed chief, had to really put the screws on the economy and almost shove it into a recession to get rid of the inflation there. And the shelter up 6.2%. That has been a sticky part of this inflation story here. You can switch different kinds of meat at the grocery store. You can't just switch where you're living overnight. And so that's something that has been kind of enduring in the core inflation rate that we've been watching. Again, core inflation, when you strip out volatile food and energy, that was higher than we wanted to see for the month as well. So I guess the overall story, signs of cooling, but the markets are reacting, you guys, as though the Fed still has a lot of work to do and a lot more medicine for this economy, John.
All right, cooling, but not as fast as the market was hoping. I think that can be sure this morning. The market doesn't really love what it saw over the last few minutes. Christine Romans, thank you very much.
All right, there you go. So CNN is,
Did you say that was CNN?
That was CNN.
Oh my goodness.
They're really trying to become more center.
Yeah, but I mean, that was
CNN.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I want to say something about Biden's message in that you can start from $1.81 in gas and go up to $4.90 and then get down to $3.85 and then say that the gas prices are better. Food is terrible in price.
And this is just food you can find.
True.
Yeah. I mean, this is just going to the grocery store. Prices, they're up. And that's just the way that's a fact of life. I was going to make another point, but
let me follow up on that. There was another report that I saw earlier today, just didn't make the final cut for the show, that pointed out that a surprising number of people, double digits, acknowledged in a recent survey that they had canceled some vacation or travel plans to some degree this year because of the increase in prices. So, you can say consumer demand is still high for this or this or this, but that means that, consumer demand still went down for other areas that were, not luxury, but, expendable, things. I mean,
discretionary,
discretionary, spending had to go down because necessary spending,
Yeah.
commodity type spending had to go up. And the bottom line, if you strip out all of those economic terms, it's more expensive to live and care for your family and run a business because of crappy economic policies and conditions.
It's true. Yeah, and it's just, I mean, we're all still feeling it. So month to month, okay, there's a
Right.
slight dip. That's good. Maybe
Mhm.
it is cooling. Maybe we won't see another. Hopefully it won't turn around and go
Right.
back up. But it's still so high, 8.3%.
I make a lot of people mad every time we get another president, and I say because very, very few times do we get a president anymore that's somebody that people of our viewpoint are going to be excited about. But I always hope that they succeed. I desperately wanted all of the people on our side to be proven wrong about Joe Biden. I wanted him to be that moderate, conservative, unifying Democrat who had a common sense economy, wasn't going to focus on all the fringe social things. I wanted to be proven wrong, and I was not.
Right.
Everything we feared with him has come true.
Yeah.
My point is this. Okay, you've got a president here. We're being told that the president's goal is to use every tool in his toolbox to make things better for this country, right? I mean, that's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the function of a president of the United States. Joe Biden is not using this toolbox. He's not opening up the pipeline. If he were to open up the pipeline, this whole thing in Russia and Ukraine and what they're spending in Europe for gas and natural gas right now would go away.
Right.
He would become a competitive country, competition between various countries, including the United States. Right now, Russia has it in their hands. It's theirs to lose.
An energy independent United States is a formidable force.
Oh my goodness.
Big time.
And
but that's my tool.
Totally kneecap that.
And that's the tool that Biden is not using, and he could use it at any moment.
Particularly in natural gas. We have centuries
yes
worth of natural gas
that Europe needs right now.
Well, and I mean it's the amount of resources we have in this country. And this is one aspect of it. And then you look at some of the trade regulations, and obviously you look at and to be fair, what's happening with Russia's aggression in Ukraine is affecting food supply because it's such a huge wheat producing and other food producing area. So that does affect things.
Yeah.
That is a contributing factor. But what happens is we're being told, well, it's all Putin's fault. We know that's not true.
I just want them to get the message. We talked about how short term our memory is.
Yeah.
Coming November, you need to keep remembering the fact that Joe Biden is not using these tools that he has available to him to make our lives better. He's not using them.
Well, as a matter of fact, he's mandating exactly the opposite. I mean, when you look at the environmental regulations and you look at what they're doing with the spending bills, those essentially, and that's what's happening is people are figuring out after the last plan, the Inflation Reduction Act, like this isn't about inflation reduction. This is about radical leftist environmentalists.
Yeah.
Not conservation, not taking care of stuff.
No,
this
climate
is,
change.
Yeah. This is about the religion of environmentalism is what this is. And all the spending and all the regulations, the idea that we are going to force people out of what the market wants as far as transportation, force people into something where the technology is not ready. It's too expensive. The grid is not capable of it, but saying we're going to do that because of ideology, which is really what this is.
Yeah. Pretty much.
We can't be surprised when crap like this happens. We just can't.
No.
Which is why November is crucial.
It is.
Yeah. I know we say that every time, but no, really,
it really is.
Every election is the most important in history because it's about the future. This is a particularly crucial point. 314-912-1019. Speaking of elections, Republicans in St. Louis County decided on a nominee for the county executive's position. I'm going to tell you who that is. If you haven't heard already, you're going to hear it again. And we're going to talk to that person tomorrow as well. So that update comes your way around 8:35 on 1019-94.1 News Talk STL.
For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. St. Louis's place to talk. The American
American people have further lost faith in our governmental institutions.
People can decide what they want and how they want to live.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasevich. The St. Louis County Republican Party Central Committee nominated Mark Mantovani last night to take on Sam Page in the fall for St. Louis County Executive. Catherine Penner won the GOP primary in August, but dropped out of the race in early September. A federal judge sentenced a 39-year-old St. Charles woman to 2 years of probation after an undercover agent busted her for illegally selling prescription drugs. The woman admitted to visiting a doctor and falsely claiming to need prescriptions for her and her child that included Adderall and oxycodone. The Schnucks at Mid Rivers has issued a recall of fresh ground beef purchased on Sunday between 10:15 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. The store said that some of its ground beef may contain metal shavings, but there are currently no reported illnesses or injuries. The largest shareholder of St. Louis-based Build-A-Bear Workshop is calling for the company to buy back at least half of its stock. If it fails to do so, Cannell Capital, which owns 10.7%, wants the board of directors to resign. And in sports, starting Friday at 2 p.m., Cardinals fans can buy playoff tickets for each of the possible playoff games to be hosted at Busch Stadium in the first 2 rounds of this year's postseason. Fans can also get early access to postseason tickets by placing a deposit on season tickets. And the Cardinals welcome the Brewers to Busch for a 2-game series. Tonight's game starts at 6:45 p.m. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to NewstalkSTL.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
They've started to clear some of the incidents that were causing trouble earlier. Northbound 55 is thinning out approaching Butler Hill, where we had a crash earlier. There's still some pockets running up towards Gasconade, though, in the work zone. 270 northbound, they've been working with a stalled vehicle for quite a while this morning, north of Big Bend on the right side, part of the right lane. That traffic is still pretty slow back to Gravois. 270 westbound after Washington, they've already got the right lane closed for construction work. That traffic is still jammed back at Old Halls Ferry, and the ramp from 255 northbound to 5570 eastbound is shut down just for today. This report sponsored by Blindster. Want to save big on new blinds? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped right to you at prices lower than the big box retailers. Shop Blindster now and save 45% off any order just by using the code RADIO. Offer ends soon, so shop today. Blindster.com. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Another cool, dry morning under clear skies. Really comfortable out there with low humidity and temperatures in the 50s. A warm day under sunny skies, the high 82 degrees, but the humidity's down. Lots of sunshine today, and clear skies continue tonight. It's going to be a beautiful night at the ballpark for the Cardinals and the Brewers. Overnight lows in the upper 50s tonight and a high tomorrow in the mid-80s, remaining sunny with that low humidity. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Hey, Tony Colombo here for the great team at All Solutions Pest Control. All Solutions is the pest control company Christine and I trust with our home because they don't cut corners and they take the time and use the best products available to help protect your home at the highest level possible. Call All Solutions Pest Control today at 636-486-7888 and learn more about our special $67 introductory offer, or visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
If you find yourself feeling out of place in the world, it's comforting to know conservative values haven't been abandoned everywhere.
But I'm not going to turn my dial off for you guys. I really like this channel.
This is News Talk STL. Welcome home. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning, made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
All right, tomorrow at, I've been saying 7:05. I want to make sure that this is right. I'm positive that it is. Tomorrow at 7:05, a Republican Party nominee for St. Louis County Executive, Mark Mantovani, is going to be on this program. I am really looking forward
Republican,
to this.
you say?
Republican nominee for
Republican, you
yes,
say?
yes. Because people will say, no, Mike, you didn't get that right. He's a Democrat. Well, yeah, he's a Democrat. He's run in the Democratic primary twice, and his name was put in. He put his name in to meet with the Republicans, and I was not there at the meeting. All I could do is read the social media from the people who were there and read the reports. And it sounds to me like, he went in and he said, you know who I am, you know what I stand for, you know what I believe, you know what we agree on, you know what we disagree on. And I want to take on Sam Page. And so the Republican Party, and this is, you can agree or disagree. I actually think this is very strategic. They simply said, you know what, the goal here is to beat Sam Page.
Yes, it is.
And are you going to nominate a Republican who has to start from scratch and beat Sam Page? Well, the answer to that's no. I know a couple. I mean, I've met a couple of the people who also put their name in. I don't really know them, but I've met a couple of other people I didn't even know at all. And Mark Mantovani, who got a huge part of the Democratic vote in the Democratic primaries against Sam Page twice already, says, I'm in. And so they went ahead and made that decision and nominated him. So you agree, you disagree, 314-912-1019. We still got a few minutes we can chat about that. Because I understand there's some people that says, wait a minute, what's the Republican Party for but to nominate Republican candidates? And I get that. Talk about that after the election if you want. And there are things that I'm sure Mark Mantovani and I are not going to agree on. And Susie, things that you're going to not agree on. So it comes down to is what's the purpose of this campaign? And to me, it is to defeat Sam Page.
Regardless of their party affiliation, if there's ever a candidate that I agree with 100%, it better be me.
Yeah.
And because otherwise I'm going to be a little scared. There's
Right.
nobody you're going to agree with 100%. I do see the argument, and Republicans are excel at this. They nominate, somebody who is more moderate, and then that person gets in office and is just an utter disappointment because they will not fight for Republican principles. So I can understand the concern there.
I actually respect that concern a lot. And if somebody completely is like, no, I'm furious, we should be nominating a conservative, I absolutely respect that argument. I really
think this is an eyes wide open thing, though. We're looking at somebody who is a known entity.
Right.
We know he's not going to be a hardcore conservative candidate ever, but he does stand a legitimate chance of being able to take on Sam Page and would be preferable to Sam Page.
Absolutely. So 7:05 on tomorrow's program, Mark Mantovani is going to be on this show. I've actually never met him before.
No,
I've never interviewed him before. So I'm actually really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
He's challenged Sam Page before. For some reason, he feels pulled into taking on Sam Page again. So this time in a general election.
I like the fact that he has passion about doing what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And the things that we're most concerned about in my house, it's the mandates.
Yes.
So as far as that goes, I'm all for it. All the other stuff, let that stuff fall where it will, and then we'll deal with it later.
Do we know he's opposed to the mandates?
Well, we don't know
We'll
that.
find out tomorrow.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why it's good to have him on, the Mike Ferguson in the morning show.
Yeah.
Because then we'll find out.
Because I'm telling you right now, I'm asking about that. That's right up front in the conversation.
Yep.
I want to know where he feels the role of government is on that.
Yeah. We have Marty on the line.
Marty, you are on News Talk STL, my friend.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I have a good friend of mine that has done a considerable amount of work at Mark's house, and he got to know him pretty well. And he finally summed it up by saying he's more conservative than you would think.
Great.
That's good to know.
I mean, that is
for being on the Democratic side, he's more of a moderate to moderate conservative, and I think that's why Page pulled out all stops to get him out of the race the last time.
You know what I find interesting is there's so many listeners of ours that have worked with in some fashion with Mantovani.
Yeah, absolutely, and really he had made some claims, and now I don't know if I can substantiate, but you could ask him tomorrow that during his campaign against Page, he was receiving threats.
Oh, I believe it. I actually hear that. I hear that more often than you would realize. There's a lot of conversations that those of us in this line of work have that don't make it on the air. And I'm telling you, I hear that far more often than what people would realize.
And it was from the extreme left. It was pushing that Sam Page. I call him King Ding Dong. Yeah, but anyway, I would be interested. I hope I'm in the car or in my office in time to listen to the interview.
Yeah.
But he would definitely have my support based on what my friend was telling me.
Okay.
He's a moderate liberal to maybe a moderate conservative.
All right. Hey, that's good to know. I appreciate you being on the show.
Hey, no problem.
Thanks, Marty.
Anytime, guys.
See, and to be as accurate as I possibly can, center left is probably where St. Louis County actually is overall.
Overall,
I think it's center left. Now, the hard left is driving the Democratic Party because all you got to do is get a majority, then you're driven by whoever your base is, and so the idea is, can that centrist to center left part of the Democratic Party, which is being ignored right now by Sam Page, by Lisa Clancy, by all the people there, will enough of them say, no, we know Mark Mantovani is one of us, and have enough of the Republican base say, okay, this is either strategic, this is an alliance, close enough, it's not going to be, you're not nominating, Ted Cruz here. You're not nominating Ron Paul here, by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But for this area, is this the smart thing to pursue? Because my take on this, Ken, is that Mark Mantovani is not going to take on something if he doesn't plan to win.
Exactly. And that's why I think I lean toward the idea, even though I don't know for sure that he's going to be against mandates. But I do take exception with something Marty said. He said that the extreme left were threatening, but I thought they were the tolerant left.
Right.
What the heck's going on here?
Yeah.
That's what they were saying. They're the tolerant left.
Just a couple bad apples.
Yeah.
What doth thou say?
Right.
314-912-1019. This is 1019-941 News Talk STL. Mark Mantovani on News Talk STL tomorrow at 7:05. Be there.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. For podcasts, articles, and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Still some slow traffic, 55 north coming up through Carondelet and Gasconade. A reminder for you that they have the ramp from 255 northbound to 5570 eastbound shut down until about 3 this afternoon. You'll have to use the Horseshoe Lake Road exit and southbound 255 to get around that. They're setting up for inspection work again today. 270 eastbound at the Chain of Rocks Bridge. That backed up pretty consistently yesterday. 270 northbound, there are pockets running up between Gravois and Big Bend that are pretty slow. That's due in part to an earlier stall vehicle. This report sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. When your ride fires on all cylinders, so do you. That's why Napa's on a mission to keep you in motion with nearly 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores and over 17,000 Napa Auto Care Centers. The Napa Network has everything you need to get up and go. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Columbo and Katie.
A lot going on in the nation's capital as apparently President Biden doesn't mind alienating either party. Tuesday, we'll discuss the issues both sides have with Joe when we talk to White House correspondent Christian Daytalk at 2:20.
Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
She's a great conservative author, film producer, Nina May.
And I keep telling my liberal friends, I say, you think you're going to escape this? No, this is exactly what totalitarian governments do. They start with the low-hanging fruit, and then they're going to go after you because they can't trust you. No, we're going to have to line you guys up against the wall and shoot you.
Wow. You have liberal friends?
Vic Porcelli, live and local weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Start a podcast for your business today with Epic STL Podcasts. Engage existing and potential customers, build trust in your brand, and drive traffic to your business. Log on to newstalkstl.com and click on the Epic STL Podcast button to learn more.
Columbo here for Agers Heating and Air Conditioning. Putting an Agers system in our new home was our number one priority because Agers' number one priority is doing right by the customer. St. Louis weather is unpredictable, but no matter what's happening outside, having a new HVAC system from Agers will ensure your family is safe and comfortable inside. Whether you need repairs or replacement, Agers has you covered with the clarity and attention to detail your home deserves. Contact Agers now at 636-242-6515 or through their website, callagers.com.
The candidates.
We're going to win this campaign.
The issues.
Gas prices, Biden inflation.
The election news, analysis, and opinion you won't get anywhere else. Decision 2022 happens.
There's a backlash coming
on News Talk STL. Like us on Facebook at News Talk STL. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
He's got the moves like Jagger.
He did that little gun fingers.
Little pistol wink there. It's kind of funny because this band called Fozzy, they were just, it was, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago. Rachel and I went and saw him at Delmar Hall.
Oh, okay.
And it popped up in our Facebook memories. It was maybe it was even yesterday. Great show. So much fun.
Nice.
Really good show.
Fozzy.
I'm Mike Ferguson. It is 8:50 with Susie Moore, who's in for Gabe this week.
Wow,
And,
morning
Ken
has
Williams.
flown by.
It has. Hey, did you see that Mark David Chapman was up for parole again this week?
No.
Yeah, he was denied. It was the 12th time that he was denied parole. For those of you who aren't old enough to remember, he's the murderer who killed John Lennon in New York City back in, was that 1980? I think
80 or 81.
80 or 81.
Maybe December of 80, I think.
It was, so he's 67 years old now. So he was 20 something, 1980, December of 1980.
Yeah.
And so John Lennon and Yoko Ono were, walking to or from their apartment, and he came up and got an autograph from him and then turned around and murdered him. He shot like 6 or 7 times at him.
Yep.
So he was up for parole again. And this time he was asking for parole and said, very, very self-deprecating, all that kind of stuff. And I know they're two completely different cases. And I don't like it when a lot of times somebody will say, well, we're talking about one thing. And they're like, yeah, well, what about them doing this?
Yeah.
I don't like that, but I couldn't get out of my mind that Mark David Chapman kept in prison. He was denied parole for the 12th time, which I'm good with. I'm absolutely, it was a cold-blooded murder. He admits it. John Hinckley.
I knew you were talking
Jr.,
about that. Yep. It's the same era.
100% free man.
Yep.
Completely released. And he tried to murder the president of the United States.
Yeah.
So, and I understand that they're different cases, but I just
they are. I mean, one was an actual murder as opposed to an
Right.
attempted. And I don't remember. Did Chapman ever claim like an insanity type defense or just
no?
No.
Not that. I mean, I'm sure the lawyers
because Hinckley was treated differently because there was that sort of insanity defense. So he was not.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Newsmax article on this, and in 2020 he was up for parole again. He said that he would understand if they didn't parole him, and he is quoted as saying, "I assassinated him because he was very, very, very famous, and that's the only reason. And I was very, 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 very much seeking self-glory, very selfish." That's what he said. And so he will be eligible for parole again in 2024.
Seeking glory by taking another person's life.
Yeah.
It's an odd way to go about it.
Yeah. Well, and we all know his name. And so basically now he's like, I live with remorse, regret. Please parole me, because he's been in since 1980, whatever.
You said one didn't die and one did die, so that makes it a little bit different. But I don't think so. I think from the gun's perspective, they wanted to kill both of them. So,
and one was a president,
and one was a president.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
One was a Beatle. Not, I mean, the Beatles are great, but one was a president.
Yeah,
and he hit him.
Yeah. So, and see, and I'm not even making Yoko Ono jokes right now,
No,
because they
no,
would be
no.
in terrible taste.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. But
come on.
No, I'll make
Ken egging him on.
I'll make the jokes at 8:57:51.
Okay,
how about that?
Just don't play any Yoko Ono music.
No, God, no, please, no. But with that, I thought that was, I thought it was interesting because we're looking at 42 years now, 41, 42 years that he's been from the time he was arrested in 1980 until now. He was convicted in 81. So 40 some years, and they're still denying him parole. And again, I'm good. That was
he murdered somebody.
Full on cold blooded murder. I'm amazed that nobody else got hurt in that case, just with spraying bullets in New York City. But that was just interesting that it happened yesterday.
Interesting.
And Vic, being the music aficionado that you are,
that's you.
Everybody's looking at me.
Hi,
that's right. That's
I
right.
guess.
That's right.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think John Hinckley should have been let out.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And neither should he, obviously.
I agree. Yeah.
Especially after he just got an autograph from Lennon before he shot him.
Yeah, he just bought. I guess it was the new album. That was the
Double Fantasy
album.
Yeah.
That's right. And he just had him sign it, and they did, or he did, and that was what he got for his being nice to a fan.
And we all heard about it in different ways. I was watching Monday Night Football, and Howard Cosell told me about it, of all people.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
That was, and if you can go on YouTube, probably you can go to any of the platforms, Rumble, some of the others, and you can listen to that.
Absolutely.
And even today, Howard Cosell, he had that very, very unique Howard Cosell nasally, choppy delivery, but it was very moving the way that he said it live on the air.
And it sounded weird because, again, the way he talked, brought to Roosevelt Hospital, dead on arrival.
Yeah.
That's the way he said it, just like that. And it was like, oh my God.
So it happened in the evening.
It happened during Monday Night Football.
I feel like I remember learning about it on the school bus, so it must have been the next morning.
Right. Yeah.
When kids were talking about it.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was, I mean,
and he was friends with John Lennon, by the way. Howard Cosell and John Lennon were friends.
Yeah. I did know that. But that was one of those where culturally significant moment.
Definitely.
And I'm not a pop culture celebrity guy, but that was a very culturally important moment.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Very sad.
Very, very much so. All right, about a minute here, Vic. What's on deck?
What a show today, ladies and gentlemen! It's the Bonchi and Bronco show.
Oh, really?
Thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
Bonchi, great writer for Red State, Thanks, Susie. Joins us at 9:05. Dr. Randy Tobler, who I gave him a recipe. I was on his show Saturday morning. We were talking about food, and he tried something I brought up. He said he loved it. That's crap at 9:41. Nick Schroer and A.F. Branco, the great political cartoonist for the world, but he's on Fox News every day.
And his cartoons, aren't they on Fox News? Fox,
every day.
FoxNews.com, right?
Yep, Fox.com. Just scroll all the way down, and you can even, go through all the dates going backwards and stuff. But he's awesome. Every time he draws Joe Biden, it's a little puzzle for me. You have to find the empty thought bubble. The bubble comes up, there's no thoughts. And he has the teleprompter, and he's got a sippy cup. And if you look close, he's always got blood on his hands since Afghanistan. Branco always draws blood on his hands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. So you heard the big news. What's your 15, 20-second reaction to Mark Mantovani?
You know what? Let's just beat Sam Page at this point. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of money. He can pour a lot of money into it. So let's see what happens. But the enemy of my enemy is my friend at this point.
Yep. And Mantovani is going to be on News Talk STL tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we got him tomorrow too. So it's good.
All right.
Right on.
All right. 1019-94.1 News Talk STL. Vic Porcelli up next at 9:04.
Do you have a property that is more hassle than is worth? Hi, this is David with House Sold Easy, and I buy houses cash. If you own a property and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-293-3000. Do you own an ugly property, a behind on mortgage payment property, a lazy tenant that won't pay rent property, a too much junk and clutter property, or even a, hey, I'm curious about a fair cash offer property? Well, don't worry. I buy them all, and I want to make you a fair cash offer. Call me at 314-293-3000.
Are you downright disgusted with the corruption of our Democratic leadership at St. Louis City Hall that's been reported in the news?
Hi, this is Mary Teresa McLean, chair of the Republican Party City of St. Louis. If you want to put our city that we all love back on track, you must get involved. If you're ready to be part of the solution, we invite you. Come and meet us. Learn more at stlouisrepublicans.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-561-3405. 800-561-3405. 800-561-3405. That's 800-561-3405.
KLGY HD3 Clay, K270BW Bellefonte, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. A worse than expected inflation report is weighing on Wall Street, dragging the stock market sharply lower this morning.
The Commerce Department says the consumer price index rose by 0.1% last month. Analysts had expected consumer prices to drop by 0.1%. Lower prices for gas and cheaper used cars slowed U.S. inflation for a second straight month. However, many other items rose in price, indicating that inflation remains a heavy burden for American households.
Correspondent Jeremy House says prices rose 8.3% year over year in August. Former President Trump's legal team suggesting the documents seized at Mar-a-Lago were not classified.
In this week's court filing, Trump's attorneys referred